Welcome to Good Earners reviewing The Sopranos season 3. Boy, I know y'all been waiting, and we have been waiting to bring this to you. Welcome to Good Earners, where we talk about family, finessing, finances, and feelings in the world of Tony Soprano, bringing you a new perspective, a fly perspective, and a black perspective. And just on the other end of things, just recognize that we are the toughest podcast coming out of Essex County. I just needed y'all to know that. I've been thinking about that for a grip. We're the toughest podcast coming out of Essex County. Spike Lou, Rich,
we ain't getting our jacket taken though.
Nah, we ain't doing that.
We ain't getting our jacket taken.
Can't do that. Gotta keep
got moxie. Way too much moxie.
Way too much moxie in this podcast.
Hey, we can sell it. We can sell it.
Hey, we've been selling it, man. Come on.
Yes.
But it's good to be
back. Give a shout out to the show, man, being number 2 on the that list that came up.
Yeah, on the feed spot, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Shout out to the feed spot. They ranked the top 10 Sopranos podcast, and Good Earners came in at number 2.
Oh, yeah.
If you listen to Another Week in the Books, and you know me, Spike Lou, I was instantly irritated that we were 2 versus 1. It was wondering, absolutely. The first thought that I had, even before processing being number 2, was like, well, hell, who was number 1?
Right.
So, yeah. But shout out to being number 2, man.
Hey, I mean, Silvio Dante's not bad. You know what I mean? I could live with that. You know, that's how I looked at it. I'm like, we Silvio Dante. You know, he's a sound character, man. But yeah, maybe we'll get number 1 here soon enough. We keep cooking. But nonetheless, what episode are we reviewing today, Spike Lou?
Man, this is episode 1 of season 3, Mr. Ruggerio's. Am I saying that correctly? I'm not sure. Neighborhood.
Ruggerio's, something like that.
Ruggerio's. Depending if you're black, Italian, Caucasian, just depending on where your background is.
Yeah.
All right, so are we doing a synopsis now? You got more?
Sir. Yeah, you go for it.
All right, let's do it, man. In the premiere of season 3, the feds try to find a way to bug Tony's home. Patsy is missing his twin brother and adjusting to the move from juniors to Tony's crew. Aide shows off some of her best assets while getting tennis lessons with Carmela, and Meadow is adjusting to Columbia and her new roommate. The Soprano family will definitely need a plumber after this episode, and AJ tries out for the football team. This is season 3, episode 1, Mr. Ruggerio's Neighborhood.
Yes, sir. And we go to the scene 1. It's something about the Sopranos. Y'all know that has been watching for a long time. Y'all know this is a signature. Tony going down the driveway. Even in the later season, we get like a dope.
Well, this is just the second one, right? This is them setting it up for everybody. Like he did it in season 2 when Pussy was sitting down in the driveway, and they kind of paid ode to that because he looked over there in the corner.
Okay, you're right. Okay.
So this is where they're getting us used to it. They like this is going to be it every time.
That's just a fire thing to say, hey, this is going to be like a little subtle signature. I like little stuff like that. Like, sidebar, I'm a big fan of like producer drops. I think that's like cool. Just like, just so you know, this is who he is. Like, I like that. There's certain things, some things change, some things stay the same. And I like this element of the Sopranos. But what did y'all gather from just this quick walk down? He picks up the newspaper. It says mob competition for garbage contracts heats up. Y'all get anything from this short scene? Because it's gonna be weird. We're gonna kind of get another one like this, but y'all get anything from this scene at this moment?
It sets the tone for the world and the expansion of the storyline. Like, this is the season that we get, and of course, I'm saying this being as someone watched the show through and through maybe 5 or 6 times, but with that knowledge and seeing that, it kind of lays out the plan for season 3. As far as how we're going to involve New York, Johnny Sack, and the different, like, beyond New Jersey. First 2 seasons, we had just New Jersey and Junior and Tony's battle for that. Now we get to see the rest of the mob world.
What say you, Rich?
Pretty much same thing. It's to the point where the newspapers are printing about this. You know what I mean? We know this is some shit that's about to go down and the mob's involved. The violence is expected. So that just kind of lets us know as viewers exactly where things should be going with this season. The show's done an incredible job of obviously showing us how important the garbage business is. Now we get to see that other side of it.
Wow. We go and the feds are listening to the tape. It seemed it was Big P. I believe Big P and Tony was having a conversation. I'm not sure if this was when they went to the Irish bar or not. I was trying to figure out if that's where this conversation was being had, but like Big P was leading Tony right to a confession. but Tony at the last minute evades. And I thought that was done very well, which we know that is one of Tony's things. Even last season, Spike Lee with one of the greatest pools of good earners telling us about Davey with the last minute, like, hey man, you should take a flight, trying to like set him up on the low. Like, we never caught that. Even some people hit us up on IG was like, man, I'd even like, so it's this is just another great scenario of Tony having that, that we ain't got to that scene yet, but when Artie tells him, it's like, man, I'm not mad at you. I envy you because you have this sense to see down like a few steps ahead. But what did y'all get from this scene? The feds are listening to the tapes. They're trying to get what they need to get with the whole operation. What did y'all get from this?
Tony too smart to even fall for P leading him down that path of even talking about anything illegal that he's done. We've already seen in last season some of his mishaps, for slipping up and even getting himself involved in law enforcement because of some of those things. So he's well beyond that. It also just shows that other side. We spend so much time in the show seeing how, the mob tries to evade the feds. Now we're seeing how the feds try to get in but get in with the mob and try to get their information as well. They're both just as tactical. They both have to move carefully. We see that a lot throughout this episode. I mean, they're at the round table. They got the board in the back with everybody's picture, their positions. They got transcripts. I mean, it's like a football season coming up. It's like an NFL draft room, like a war room.
Playbooks right there.
Yeah, you know what I mean? They're really trying to get everything together and making sure because they can't mess up. They got to be precise with it. They also trying to figure out how to build a case against Tony because they know they lost P. They say it in this scene. We can pretty much, consider P gone. Wabistics was their chance at a RICO. So now they're chasing the airline tickets. And it's funny how the feds are supposed to be on top of things, but they don't know shit. Whose mother's going to turn on their son? If they know anything about Olivia, they know that she'll do something worse.
Exactly.
I thought that was Richie weird. Must have got whacked by the cartel.
Yeah.
You know anything was going on, then you should know what happened to Richie. So it just gives that inside world of the feds, and it paints them because this episode plays like the movie Ocean's 11 or an old detective show. You get what I'm saying? Just the fade to black scenes, the music in the background, just going from scene to scene, setting things up. It feels like some kind of mystery detective heist type of show with them trying to plant this wire. So when they take everything out of place and show us the regularness of the feds and not being these super smart, we're going to bust the bad guys. Like, nah, these dudes is clowns themselves. It just shows us that we in for that ride for this episode and how they're going to try to really take down a mob boss. They've been playing around with it the first 2 seasons. Now we're really trying to get some charges to stick.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the same as Rich in the sense of what this scene shows us is Tony he's not able to hide anymore. We know you're the boss. We're going to put all the resources behind connecting you to, as you've seen on the board behind him, like they got Johnny Sagnum up there. They got the other families in New York. Like what this is doing very subtly is showing us like Tony is bossing up. Like even more than the first 2 seasons, it ain't nothing where I can act like Junior's the boss and I can hide behind him and still be doing the day-to-days. Nah, we know who you are. We know what we want as far as getting you locked up, and we're going to allocate all our resources in doing so. Like this is what this scene is really good in showing. And you two also brought up a good point as to the lack of information that they have as far as how Pussy was leading them on. Like they really didn't get nothing from that. And they don't really know that Tony Mama would probably flip on him. This is how little they know about Tony, how insulated that he's been. But now you on the big boy stage. Like now you having conversations with New York, as we'll see later in this season. Now the whole Fed team, we got 12 officers in a room talking about you. Not the family, not Junior, not somebody they think taking orders. They talking about Tony. How do we bug his house? So I think this is a really good scene in the sense of showing the growth of Tony Soprano from season 1, season 2 to where we are now with his character.
Did y'all think it would? To me, this kind of came off weird. This spot where they were like kind of like what mom would go against their own son when the lead detective with the glasses was the one that was playing the recording for Tony in season 1 with Junior and Olivia pretty much wanting to off him, and even seeing Tony kind of get slightly emotional about it. I don't know. it's just kind of weird to me. Did they not gather that Livia was trying to have him whacked in season 1 off that recording? Their interpretation was different, because it just seemed weird to me when the dude said that. I'm like, what do you mean? That's the angle. Like, that's.
But
I just got confused with that.
Though. Yeah. Here's the thing to that though. When Liv and Junior are talking on that tape, that's family business. How they handle that is one thing. They're not going to involve the feds in that. You know, handling family business to get Tony whacked is completely different than testifying against Tony. Mm-hmm. You know, you don't go about business that way. Mm-hmm. You know, it's almost like Training Day. You know, I know that's your movie, Training Day. What's wrong with street justice? Mm-hmm. You know, they're providing street justice to Tony because they feel that's right. It's against a whole different code to be like, all right, we're gonna cooperate with the feds. That's Johnny Soprano's wife. Like, there's no way.
But look, here's why I know
that's probably what they're thinking, is what I'm trying to say. That's probably what the feds are thinking.
But look, that's what I'm saying. I'm with you. But these are the same people that approached Carmella literally while he was doing the CAT scan right there, saying, hey, you still got time. You can still, you know, you can still confess. You can still like pay to get immunity, like right in front of her. So that's, I guess, I don't know. Maybe we're supposed to just lean in to believe that these guys are ignorant. I don't know if they want us to believe they're ignorant.
This whole episode shows us how ignorant they are.
That's it. That's all what it is. It shows that these guys are schmucks. And they were like, what we put in, ain't no, for a while reference, ain't no McNulty, ain't no Lester Freeman on this staff. Like, these dudes are complete schmucks. And we get to see that throughout this episode when they're looking and talking about, oh, I have the same drill as he has. Oh man, that water heater's gonna blow. Like, that's some shit that, like, McNulty, or if we talk, like, again, comparing them to the wire detectives, they wouldn't even notice that shit, because they would have been so drawn in on Stringer Bell's environment or how to catch him or whatever it may be that they were doing, that shit wouldn't have even registered to them. So the fact that this guy had that information, like you said, Mo, had the conversation with Tony, knew what it should mean and what angle he should take with it, and was still dumb enough not to know to press on it in season 3, that shows the crew that he was dealing with and kind of what the whole theme of the show is about when Tony got in on the back end of it. It wasn't no Mayor Giuliani out here putting RICO charges out. It was these bums. These bums, like, even though Tony was great, he didn't have to be as good as John Gotti, because I got these bums trying to get me.
That's around everything. Spike took the words right out of my mouth. I literally was going to point to the part when they viewed Tony as a celebrity. We use the same power tool. They find similarities between their lives. They fascinating going through his mail. They couldn't wait to get into his basement just to see what it holds. And to another point that you said earlier, Spike, P spent so much time talking about convincing himself that his time with the feds was ancillary. You know, I didn't give them nothing. I was leading them on, things like that. It doesn't matter. No matter what you do, just talking to them can leave you something, because Skip realized, hey, you know, P told me they talked in the basement from time to time. That just from talking, not giving them any real information, but you always giving something without even knowing. So he picked up enough to know we can plant a bug right here in his basement under these ducks, because this is part of their routine. They would have never known that had it not been for P just running his mouth, even though it wasn't nothing they can put a charge on him. It's something that helped them with their, you know, investigation. So, you know, there is no self-righteousness, like, oh, I'm just doing this just to pass the time. I ain't giving no real info. Nah, it always leads to something.
Good call. Okay, I like that. I like the way I put that. That works a little bit better for me. I guess what my challenge is because I know how much I feel like they're leaning towards real life events, and so when they were going at real mob bosses, I can't remember one of the 5 families, but like they were trying to get in. They kept trying to bug different places. We get references here, and so Gotti. Yeah, Gotti definitely. That whole fascination thing, I definitely think is a nod to Gotti. But I can't remember. I was trying to look it up here, but I can't remember which one it was that Sammy the Bull was talking about. I don't know if it was
Gotti. That was Sammy the Bull was John Gotti hitman.
Well, Angelo.
Well, it was
they popped,
but it was somebody before Gotti though. It was they popped Castellano. That's what I'm talking about. So Castellano, like them trying to like get a wire on him, get his crib. You know what I mean? Like lock in. I feel like this. So this episode
they got in with his maid.
Yes.
Yeah, they found out he was fucking his maid and shit.
Yeah, so this is why I feel like
the tap situation.
Okay,
yeah.
So yeah,
this is where that came from, 100%. Yeah.
Okay, because I think that we definitely had.
He had a house called the White House that they were staking out, and once they found out that the White House was his and whatnot, and put the bugs in Paul Castellano's house, they came to find out that he was fucking his maid. And I think the son. He may have got her pregnant or something like that, but he had a son by her. Something like that happened. But yeah, this is definitely an old shit that you're right.
Because they put it in the TV, I believe, right? They wired this TV.
It wasn't in the cable. It was in the cable box. They acted like they were cable people.
Exactly.
They came knocking on the door, and he was like, "Well, something's wrong with my cable." They cut his cable and shit. And act like they were coming there to fix it. Yeah.
Because that was on that Netflix doc. What, New York versus? Yeah, that was a fire. Yep. Yeah, we deep in these streets, man. Toughest podcast out of Essex County. The next scene we get is a real short scene, but they get the warrant to get the install on the permission to install a wire, which we'll find out how many attempts and how many places they've wired, which is ridiculous. But this is probably, again, like we were just referencing, how it really worked in real life. We got to keep having probable cause, probable reasoning to be able to keep bugging these things because we believe this guy. Even the judge is like, man, how many times y'all gonna bug this guy? I do want to ask y'all, and there's gonna be more scenes down the road. Do y'all feel like this episode, because I tried to look at kind of the year of release, do y'all feel like this episode in any kind of way inspired The Wire?
No, because The Wire was inspired by Dave Simon's real life events. Like, he got
a book about it. It was first inspired by The Corner, and then it was inspired by him being a police officer in Baltimore. Like, a lot of the characters are based off people that he knew. A lot of the, like, even the Barksdale crew, there was a real crew in Baltimore based off the Barksdales. I don't think they had the same name, but yeah, David Simon. It's a really good book called damn. You didn't ask me. I would have knew. Go ahead. I'll tell you the name of the book in a second. All the Pieces Matter. It's a really good book called All the Pieces Matter with David Simon, talking about The Wire and his inspirations from.
Look at this. Look at this guy.
There you go.
Hey, don't make me get my Soprano book out now. Let's not go. Hey, woke up this morning. Don't make me go get that book, Joy.
Fire, man. But if you're a Wire fan,
this guy, if y'all on YouTube, man, come on. If y'all on YouTube watching this, Rich is deep out here with the books. Boy, this guy is the guy for real.
That All the Pieces Matter is really good. I ain't got the Sopranos, but I'm finna download that one right now. But
you gotta read that.
Influences of The Wire.
You gotta buy that one because that ain't because you can listen to Woke Up This Morning.
Woke Up This Morning.
You don't want to listen to it. And we'll get back on subject, y'all. But like, you don't want to listen to it because you might as well listen to the podcast. Like with them too. Like it wouldn't even be the way the book is set up, even with the pictures and a little bit of context. I think that works.
Oh,
better.
I see. It's them two.
And then they synchronized it too, where it's like kind of like the slow build of the show and the writers, and it's better in like that form versus like I feel like listening to it, but
reading is better than listening to it for this case.
I think so because the podcast is kind of the nucleus of how they got to Woke Up This Morning, which is like, damn, I'm like, bro, we need to figure out how to make another week in the books a book. When they did that, I was like, yo, we need to figure out how to. But anyways, so we get the feds are staking out Tony's house, and the arrogance Tony has, I thought was really funny here. He rides out and he's looking at them boys like, hey, man. Like, hey, it's all good. Like, don't even worry about it. These are a couple short scenes, but did y'all get something from this particular one when Tony, I guess, made them at this moment when he was riding out and they were staking out his house or whatever?
Just Tony being on top of it, man. It's funny because there's a scene or scenes throughout this episode of AJ, getting picked up by friends going around the corner. I just kept thinking to myself, like, AJ never in his life could ever spot an FBI van.
In his life.
Hey, you could pay him $1 million, he couldn't do it. And just how quickly Tony just sees it. Like you said, the arrogance of it, just classic Tony Soprano.
Okay.
Goes to the, as the feds grew, and we were talking about in the last segment, Tony too. Like, I'm on the lookout for these things. I see y'all. Like, y'all ain't got no upper hand on me, bro. I know how this game goes because I had good tutelage and good teachings from it. So yeah, I think it shows just as much that the FBI grew and had the graphs and the blackboards behind them. Tony is also growing. Like, bro, I see y'all. Like, I know what y'all doing.
Yeah, it because the Bevilacqua was like the slip that Tony really regretted last season. Like him and Big P killing Bevilacqua really was like, dang, bro, I know better than this. So I think once he got off on that, even though his attorney was like, bro, relax, you got off. But he's like, man, I can't be moving like that. It speaks to what y'all saying as far as Tony, like, all right, bro, ain't gonna be no slip ups like on some low street level murders and stuff like that. Like I got to be moving different. So once he got off on that, he is getting in that John Gotti bag kind of, you know what I mean? So, but we get the feds, they're having a lunch and they're plotting, and the feds are being really thorough about this wire. And this is why I was like, certain moments to me just felt kind of Wire-ish to me, but it might obviously different from y'all. That's y'all top show, you know, or whatnot. But what did y'all get from this scene? They just having lunch. They're shooting thoughts around. They still got they got the maid. They're putting everything together. They still got that same vision board up almost from season 1 when they were looking at underbosses and Jackie Aprile and Junior being the boss and everything. What y'all get from this scene right here?
I think it adds to the measure in which they like have grown, that Tony Soprano has grown to, the extents that they're willing to go to tap his home. We're gonna break in. We gotta make sure we follow the maid. We got resources going in every which different direction. It's gonna cost the company or agency this much money, but yet and still we think this is gonna work. This is the only way that we can catch Tony Soprano. So again, I just think it adds to his prestige as a gangster in this season. Like they're really trying to get that all in this episode. How far he's risen from season 1, running over a nigga with the car, asking for some money, to this season. Like the feds like got the vision board about you.
Great call.
Just how tactical they need to be as well. They have a whole department of the FBI right now just focused on Tony Soprano and what AJ is doing, what Carmela's doing, what the housekeeper's doing, what time she leaves. Like that's just completely tactical to playing a wire.
Yeah. I respected that element of it, like them saying, hey, yo, we need eyes on everybody. And then not only do we need eyes on everybody, but we need eyes on those that are inside the house and those that are around the house. So if a neighbor is doing this or this and that, like I think their approach was right on point. I we'll get to that, Rich. I know we'll have time to talk about what we kind of talked about original plot, because the way this is set up, the way it was going, it does make it seem very interesting where we thought things would go with how the feds was heavy with it. You know what I mean? Like they were going crazy, and then all of a sudden it was, I used a reference from Johnson's Family Vacation. I call it Cedric Bubbles, where he was in a hot tub and then all of a sudden all the women got in and the bubble stopped. Like this, that's what I call when the moment just goes away like that. Cedric Bubbles. So, but yeah, I like that. Like you said, the tactical thing. They did this transition going back to the Soprano house, and I don't want to give away my ranking of the episode, but when we get there, I'll be able to explain some things. But they do this fade out. It feels just like what you were talking about, Rich. Like some old like
80s TV show.
Yeah, it was like
no. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll wait a little further, but I got some issues. I'm going to say that I got some serious issues because it doesn't line up with Chase to me.
That's what I'm saying. It's like watching Ocean's 11 and seeing the plan come together. Like
this was like Charlie's Angels, Ocean's 11 type shit.
Yeah,
because again, to get a little bit into it before we get to the end of the episode, like it wasn't really nothing going on in this episode. So that was the only way, them posting the shit in their basement and them rushing home to see it. Like that was the only drama build that they had in this episode. Literally nothing happened besides that. So they had to find a way to build tension in this episode, and that was it.
Okay.
A lesser show would have tried to make some kind of, because you think about it, the outside looking in, it's like, oh, we get to follow, we get to follow the Soprano family for a day. This is gonna be exciting, and it's just they do the same shit we do.
Facts.
Yeah, it's funny that the glamour. I'd imagine like whoever gets to watch Tony is like probably obviously Skip is the one to get to watch Tony, so it's like he got the upper hand. It's like this is probably the most interesting. I get to see what they, even though he's just going to the Bing and all that, but yeah, we get this moment. We get a quick little, I won't call it a montage, but we get Tony goes down, gets the paper, then it transitions to AJ AJ living his best teenager life, man. I was happy for him here. We'll get there later a little bit when they go to the little convenience store. But like AJ living his best teenager life. He hanging out. Somebody got a little hoopty, but they on their way. So you got somebody following.
What kind of loser goes from weed to cigarettes?
Whoa.
That's true.
He's a loser because he goes from weed to cigarettes.
Yeah.
Y'all, you guys are wild.
What kind of downgrade in life is that?
Yeah,
That's
man, come on.
crazy.
You smoking weed now? You smoking cigs?
Yeah.
By a corner store at 11 o'clock in the morning at 14 years old.
Some
bro?
true
Come on,
champions
bro.
right there. Like,
Kick your ass,
y'all are
man.
something else.
You need your ass kicked.
Y'all called him. You need your.
Yeah, man.
You need
AJ
your
should have been
ass
wrong.
kicked, man.
Y'all are
AJ
crazy.
should have
You
been wrong.
imagine, like,
animal?
wait. Sir. Listen,
What
could
kind
you
of animal?
imagine? Could you imagine, bro? You got to stop at the corner store and you see your 14-year-old son sharing a beer and smoking a cigarette with 6 other people, bro. That probably would. Man, you don't know how bad that would piss me off.
I'd be
bro.
heated.
11 o'clock on a Tuesday, and you in the
I'd be
ninth
heated.
grade,
I'd be heated.
bro.
I would have rolled down the window like you a fucking loser. Get in.
Get in. Bro, but that we grew up like that. We seen high schoolers doing this.
Big
joint.
loser
We seen freshmen,
activity.
just like I used to be like, bro, y'all smoking cigs. Like
That was a big loser activity.
That was definitely big
I've
loser.
there's never been a point in my life where that wasn't loser activity. Like the nigga smoking cigarettes in the freezing cold, like having to get one in.
I was definitely
huddle
that.
of
I was-
niggas right there. Like that shit's
I was that guy.
crazy, bro.
I was that guy.
Bro, if I was Tony Soprano, that would like probably send
Not
me
at
to
that
the
age,
edge.
but
That probably would send me to the edge, nigga. Are you serious?
what kind of
I probably would have
animal?
beat him up in a like.
AJ's
an animal. He's an animal. You
It's
smoking.
worse than smoking weed at the other
the-
shit.
at the
It's
crib, yeah.
worse.
100 times
Yeah,
worse.
like,
That's
bro,
what I'm
it's
saying. 100 times, bro.
worse,
Y'all are wild.
Niggas out here sharing a Snapple, smoking cigarettes together.
They was living that
nigga,
broke
no,
man.
no
are you
backwash.
fucking kidding me?
Bro, they would that okay, y'all. Well, I'll wait till we get there. Y'all don't know nothing about that broke life, obviously, because I ain't been there, but I got stories like
That
where it's
ain't
like
even broke life. That's another type of life. That's loser life.
that's a loser
That ain't even
life,
just
man. Y'all
that ain't
have,
even just broke though. No, that ain't even just broke. That ain't just like I ain't got it. Like I'm trying to figure it out. Just like I gave
All
up.
I can
gave
hear,
up, nigga. That's
all I can hear is Sonny from Box Hill telling C like those kids are losers. Stay away from them.
thanks.
The same
Oh,
type of
man.
kids,
Nigga.
man.
Thanks.
man, y'all don't think AJ deserves to find his way though?
No, I don't. I don't think he got enough
deserves it.
brains to find his own way. I ain't even.
I ain't about his brains.
He
Do
gotta
you
hold his
do you
hand.
think he deserves to find his own way? Like figure
I
out
don't.
who.
I
Sure. Every kid does.
So why, okay, hold on. Why don't you think he deserves to find his own way?
What did he do to deserve to find his own?
He's
way?
a kid.
Everything in his life has been given to him.
So
Like the least he could do is listen to people who are successful around him and try to do that. But he ain't even do that.
You're talking
He just
from
like
the
shrug
grown,
it off like, oh fuck it, man. I don't care.
You too far removed, Spike. You are way too far removed, bro. Like you have
Man,
like when he
man.
didn't go on that fishing trip last season, you were like going crazy.
Piss
I'm
me
like,
off. Piss me
bro,
off.
you must be way too. You gotta watch stuff from your childhood or something, bro. You too far removed.
Maybe
Like
so.
golly,
AJ just make me feel that way. Like he's just
Okay.
one of the people that gave up really early.
I don't
And
know
with
if
a
he gave
dad in
up.
your
I just
life, and
think
I ain't even saying that Tony Soprano was the best dad, but the fact that AJ gave up the way that he did, in my opinion, so early, is like it never sit well with me, which made him one of my least favorite characters on television.
oh, he's definitely one of the
I
least.
feel like that he just
favorite.
gave up. Like
But
even with this,
right here,
even with this, like they tried to try. A little spoiler alert for the rest of the episode. They try to tie in the football to like where it was him trying, and I get that, and it was cool. But otherwise, every other scenario is just him giving up, like just being a fat fucking loser. Like,
okay,
that's
yeah,
it.
he don't make the effort. I do get that. You're right. He doesn't have like quite the initiative. Like yeah, he did give up early. I don't know how if the pressure or what it is, but I don't like. Let me say I don't like AJ. I'm in that same fan club as most people that don't like AJ Soprano. I'm trying to gauge this in a slow formatted walk where I'm trying to see the humanity in a teenager, even though I don't like him. And
You're trying to find a reason to like him.
no, I'm not. I'm trying to find a reason to understand him. I'm trying to find a way to understand him, even if I don't like him. That's like season 2 we just reviewed. I have a whole different respect for Richie that I never had before because we doing it this way. I never had that before. I've watched this a few times over, but last season made me really look at Richie different. So I'm trying to gauge everything from a slow walk. So I try not to bring too much bias into it. That's all. But I get where you're coming from.
I get what that message is brought to you from. That message is brought to you from Maurice Bell's-Bond.
Oh, what? Oh,
he trying to shoot. You trying to shoot really? AJ all the bail.
The Maurice Bell. Oh, y'all, man, these guys.
We about to keep a bail bond counter for Maurice.
This guy.
Matter the charge. We'll come get you out. We're going to get you out of the trouble, bro.
Oh, man. These guys.
That was 100% bail for AJ.
Oh, bail
bond. You was shooting my man. Tony wasn't even paid that bail. You was going
like, look, this nigga is in the 9th grade, skipping school, smoking cigarettes at the corner store, sharing Snapple with 6 niggas.
You ain't skipped school? Come on, bro. You ain't ever skipped school or nothing like that?
I'm not Tony Soprano's son. Like, there's no expectation of me.
No,
I didn't skip school to do that though. Like, if I was skipping school, it was something that was very ignorant. Like it helped me out. It wasn't that ignorant though. It wasn't smoking cigarettes at the corner store. There were girls involved, money, things of that nature. But it was never like, hey man, we gonna stand here on the corner store and smoke a cigarette.
You moving the goalpost? You know you moving the goalpost. I get it, but come on.
I just don't. AJ never, like, I just don't understand. He never had the mental capacity, like, with all the shit that was around him. He just, like, never seen the bigger picture. That shit.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree there. I'm just at this stage. He still has. You're a high schooler, so it's like, and you're Italian, you're a white guy to us. So we're used to white people, like, from our experience being black. Like, we're used to y'all doing stuff we don't understand. So for me, it's not that crazy right now. Now, when we get later down the road, he goes way off the deep end. Right now, he's still just average. That's just white people stuff.
Just regular white boy stuff.
Just white boy stuff to me right now. But like deep down the road, I'm like, all right, what is you on, bro? Like, you now know what your dad does. You now know these things, and you on something else. You really in the loser bag for real. But I guess I'm the Bells. What is it, the Bell bonds?
You the Bell bonds.
A Bell bonds.
Big Mo Bells. Big Mo Bell bonds.
Most Bell bond service.
That's crazy.
You just shy on crazy, Bill.
All right.
Tony ain't never said nothing that nice about AJ ever.
Oh my gosh, y'all, okay. I'm the whistleblower now. I'm the defendant of y'all. Crazy. I hope there's some character down the road that y'all are like going to be like in the minority of defending, because I am going to cook one of y'all.
I think there is for me.
That nigga said you want me to get snipped and this is my air.
God, that was, oh man.
Come on, man.
This is my air and you want me to. That's
and
crazy.
Again, this is Tony Soprano's son, bro. He ain't got no wherewithal to be like, damn, this is the position that I have been given. Let me act accordingly. Nah, this nigga just flat out bum life. Like, I'm just going, like, it don't matter to me. I'm just gonna be bum life. That's crazy.
Fredo Soprano.
Yeah, Fredo Soprano. He's great. Fredo. Okay, it was you,
Facts.
Michael. Trying to remember. Okay, so feds at the house. They track AJ. It's funny because AJ is still listening to rap music. It's continuity of season 1. He's quoting Master P.
Nigga be a follower. Nigga be a leader, not a follower.
Right. Continuity to season 2 with Meadow them was listening to rap music at the house party at Livia's. So they keeping that little underlying continuity that's the way for these privileged kids. They feel like rap is like rock. It's this rebellious thing. So rap is kind of serving that spot. So that's that. They call him Baby Bing. We got Mrs. Bing, Bada Bing, and Princess Bing. I give him 5 for cleverness. And Tony is at such a level. He's driving off in the Suburban. I can't wait till you get to the caddy, but he's driving off in the Suburban and he's singing. I've been talking about like this boss level status from Tony. This is how chill he is. I'm singing a song. I'm not worried about y'all. Yeah, I'm going to the Bing. I'm going to talk business with my mob guys. And I'm not worried about, these guys are following them literally in real time. I'm not worried about you dudes. Like, anyways, but what did y'all get from the rest of this scene right here?
just showing how tactical this episode does this continuously. All the details and all the struggle they have to go through to be on the same page. I guess that's the most important thing. Mm-hmm. Time everything up and be on the same page. Everybody has a job to do, and all it takes is one person not to do their job for this whole operation to go under. Mm-hmm. No different than the mob. You know, it's a lot of similarities between the two groups. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's just more of that. Just them being tactical, trying to figure out how we're going to get this wire into Tony Soprano's house, how we're going to make this trial run. We got to break in this nigga's crib. Like, that's not easy to do. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So, just more of that.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's not easy to do. And we go to the same lengths that they go to get our point across. Mm-hmm. Like, they may be called the criminals in the court of law, but still, like, breaking into a nigga house, playing the microphone, doing all this extra shit that they're doing to catch Tony Soprano, a quote unquote like mobster or what? Well, not quote unquote, but a mobster who they think is killing people and responsible for all sorts of these crimes. These are the lengths that they go to get their point across, just like the list, as Rich said, the mob goes to get their point across. Same thing.
Yeah, I do think that David Chase and the good people of the Soprano cast, creators, I think that they're taking the same formula from season 2's first episode of the montage and to update us where everybody was, where we see Chris' status has changed with Wabistics and all of these different things, and Carmela's issue with her marriage. I think they're using it in a different way here, which is really high level intelligence in 2000. You know what I mean? Like, to be able to say, okay, we're going for that montage thing. We want to let y'all know what's going on with the characters without saying it again, but we don't want to use the montage technique again. We're going to have the feds follow all of these characters so you can know what's going on. We're going to see Tony's still doing this thing at the Bing, but we're not going to know what they're talking about. We're going to see AJ's in 9th grade and he's getting into cigarettes and beer. We're going to see, his sister Meadow is in college. We see, and I got something to say about Carmela when we get a little later, like, still on some trash, but, so we're getting that update without saying it. You know what I mean? So I think it's just another. So I give them points for that. Like, I get what they were going for there. They were trying to update us without saying this is what's going on. So I could appreciate that. But we get a quick little cut. Tony goes to the Bing and he's following Patsy, and Patsy has the little jacket or whatnot.
Yeah, Satrials.
Oh, right. I'm tripping. Satrials. Yeah, Satrials?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I guess I forget what
because they're eating. They got the kitchen. The kitchen's not at the Bing. The kitchen's at Satrials.
Oh, gotcha. I don't know why.
And in the parking lot, you can see the sign for Satrials too.
Yeah. Okay, good pull. Because I don't know why I never thought about that. But you're actually right, and it's darker too. I don't know. It kind of blurs for me sometimes, but I appreciate that, bro.
Yeah, no doubt.
I thought this was funny. Y'all can tell me.
Off, Mo.
It did. I was like, whoa.
You had to recalibrate.
Yeah, like straight AI right now. I thought it was funny how Patsy brought the chinchilla back that Tony got for Carm, and he handles it with such care versus the jacket that he got from Richie that he had no care for. I thought that was just so funny to me. Like, that was just one of them things where it's like, oh, no, bro, I told you, bring it in this way, do this and that. And I could appreciate this. This is one of those, it's one of them details that's not really that important, but it's like Carm had to have a conversation off air to say, hey, Tony, I like it if it is good. I mean, we know he was, getting his joint copped with her and the chinchilla, but like, I want you to make sure it fit. And I thought that was kind of dope that he still was doing the husband thing. Like, all right, let me get this fixed up for her. And they bring it back here. But I did have a question. What did y'all think about Paulie's lesson on the coronavirus in 2000, starting with men's urinals to shoelaces?
Never, ever forgot this. Every time I'm in the bathroom, damn near, I think about this.
Bro.
Like, every fucking time I look at my shoes and my hands and all, like, I never forgot this. Like, TV teach you moments. This was definitely one of them. Like, this shit has never slipped my mind as far as what he said right here.
Bro.
Because it makes so much sense, though.
This is straight out of this reminds me a lot of Tarantino's dialogue.
Yeah, some shit like that.
Like when you watch Reservoir Dogs and they have the whole scene about tipping, Just those weird small conversations that everybody's had.
That everybody's talked about.
You wouldn't expect to see that in a show like The Sopranos or a film like Reservoir Dogs. That was this. And it's real. Like somebody had that real life experience and went through that. Tells you a lot about Paulie too. And we know, like, he a germaphobe.
Like if I rarely go to clubs, anything like that now, but like a concert and anything like what a lot of people are, like I always look down at my shoes before I walk in the bathroom to make sure my laces ain't dragging, just in case I got to retie them, anything. And that shit came strictly from Paulie Gutierrez saying that shit right there in this thing.
Yeah.
Like that's one of the things.
I'll wash my hands, then go to the bathroom, then wash my hands again.
Wash my hands when I leave.
Oh, big fan.
Same thing. And that came from this scene. That came from this scene, bro.
Come on, man. Sopranos is an educational TV show. Yeah, I didn't know. Y'all thought it was a mob show, but it's also educational, and we're gonna find out it's also a sitcom.
One thing you lying about though is the ladies' bathrooms.
Oh,
I was younger, and I used to have to clean bathrooms when I worked at Target and like doing carts and shit. Like women's bathrooms are disgusting.
I heard
that shit is fucking disgusting.
I heard
because I think we just go in there and we do our 1-2 and we get out, but like they got a whole lot of other shit going on that they got to do. A
lot of bodily fluids, man.
Yeah, man, women's bathrooms is disgusting. Like he don't know what he's talking about right there.
And only
go ahead.
A scene like this can only be this comedic with somebody like Paulie telling the story.
Paulie,
everybody trying to eat. You talking about urinals and
you talking about urinals
things dragging through piss. Like, come on, bro. I love how Seal and this is the closest Seal got to that the poker game last year.
Yo, he was letting it brew too. He was letting it build. Like, all right, bro. Like, all right. I always think about I use this in real time, but like for those that have seen The Nutty Professor, he'd be like, when Sherman was like, all right, now you got me. Now, I ain't got you yet. Like that, like that was like the one of the moments, like, all right now. Like Seal was trying to like keep it cool, like, all right, Paulie. He was like, man, shut the like, bro.
And it's funny though, a nigga like Furio, you see him in the background, he didn't even know what was going on. He's still reaching for the food, like just loading this plate up, like I don't even know what he's talking about right now.
Yeah.
That shit is just so brilliant.
Oh my gosh, bro, this is so freaking funny.
You see that on TV? I gotta watch TV to figure out the world.
Man,
like all the classic Paulie lines.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying. That's what makes it so. That's why I said, bro, Paulie, Quasimodo predicted this. This coronavirus, like, seriously, like Paulie was just on it early. And when I seen this, I think maybe during the pandemic, I was like, yo, like I was like, it's crazy to me. Like when I seen that, I didn't get to ask before in the previous scene. We'll hear it throughout the episode. But what did y'all think about the musical blend?
In what sense?
They were blending like two different songs. They was doing doom 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 doom. Then they was going to doom 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 like that missing you or whatever. Like they were blending two different songs. What do y'all think about that? If you watch the episode, you're paying. Maybe I don't know if y'all caught the blend, but it's very clear that they're blending two songs. Like that's what makes it
mash it up.
Okay, because
I ain't even catch it.
And this guy has
it was the Peter Gunn theme and Every Breath You Take. They matched up those two songs.
So yeah, I did not like this blend, bro. Like I matter of fact, I didn't like it, I hated it. It was so cartoony, and the two songs, it's like it was so cheesy. Like I like when they do cheese when they try to make a point, but this was just like, I don't know. I was like, pick one or the other.
So the reason they were doing it, and it's the same reason why the episode is the title it is. So Mr. Ruggerio's neighborhood, they were talking about Angelo Ruggerio, who was in 1981, the feds tapped his line or tapped his house for John Gotti and the Gambino crime family. So that's why, even though it's the plumber's name in this episode, the name of that name came from, obviously we have an episode about a wiretap. Then the song, as far as the mashup goes, you have the Peter Gunn TV theme, which is a show about a private investigator and Every Breath You Take, and that's written by the police. And it was supposed to be written about Sting's stalker. So you kind of got the Fed stalking Tony, and all of these things kind of mixed up. The private investigator thing, like I said, trying to be this little investigator. What steps do we take next? They tried to make a point with it, but in true Sopranos fashion, just trying to be unconventional, throw something else at us.
Yeah. I think it's needed, but I don't like it looking back, but I imagine real time. I mean, they were shooting at a high percentage from the field, like in this era.
They didn't have to. Yeah, they didn't have to do it.
They didn't have to, no. But this is hindsight. In real time, when you're creating, it's very challenging when you know that you have to kind of keep one-upping yourself and you got to tap into different spaces of maybe comfort, discomfort, you agree with, you don't, instincts, logic. It's very hard to do that. So I imagine in that time, it's like, this is what I'm doing. I don't know how much I'm fully on board with it, but I'm on board enough to say I'm taking the risk because we've been taking risks with The Sopranos. So I get why they did it. I just don't like it looking back in the year that we live in it currently. So but I'm not mad at it. Like a lot of stuff is very forgivable, you know.
Makes sense. And what you're saying is exactly right. They're always looking for ways to step out the box and do something different. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you got to play around, see what works, see what doesn't. Oh well, live with the result. So
yeah.
Great point. Great pool.
Okay. So we get a quick little scene. They start trying to set up for the Sopranos house. They're getting locked in. They're on the dude is on the ladder. He's chopping he's chopping their alarm. I'm thinking that's what we're to believe.
Cutting the alarm line.
Shouts out to Tony, them making sure they got an alarm, even though they strapped and everything. I like the fact that they're keeping it very suburban. You know what I mean? Like, we know a lot of us black people, we don't got alarms. So I like the idea that they got an alarm.
It's funny because the dude said he told him Pickett Wilson, and I don't know if his name was really Wilson or if that was a reference to Wilson Pickett. When he was picking the lock, like that was like a cool little
bar. Anything else y'all get from this? Like they're getting that first little taste of getting inside of Tony's house at this moment. They kind of did a lot of bouncing back and forth on the scene. So it was kind of, from a note-taking standpoint, it was a little challenging because it's like soon as you get into the scene and kind of observe, they switch and go back somewhere else with it. And I'm not really a huge fan when they do a lot of switching back and forth, but I get the innovation at the time, like we just spoke about.
I don't know. It was cheesy. Like, I agree with you. What you were saying, it was cheesy. I didn't really like it.
Okay. Yeah. We're back at the Bing. Patsy. Oh man. Patsy is struggling with the death of his brother, and the murderer is right in front of his face. Tony is frustrated, which this is, to me, one of the most hilarious traits of Tony. He has a real problem with being wrong. Ever. Like, he has this weird problem with, like, if he's thought about a decision and it makes sense to him, he goes through with it. But then when he's challenged on it and somebody actually makes a good point, he gets really angry about it. And it's just a trait of Tony's. I just thought it was funny, like how he kept trying to move on from this moment. Spike, what did you get from this scene? This moment right here. Twin telepathy.
You know, the funny thing, it was different. Twin telepathy. It was funny. The different thing that I got from this scene and what you just said was the things that you have to deal with to be a part of this crew. Like, everybody sitting at that table is damn near made men. They all the way in. These ain't like Matthew Betancourt's or any of those other dudes. These are like real mob niggas.
Yeah.
So in the sense of him having to deal with, and we find out later in this episode that I know damn near for a fact that you killed my brother. But I'm so engulfed in this mob lifestyle, this mob culture, that I got to sit here and act like I'm cool with y'all. I got to sit here and act like this shit is cool with me in order to survive or have a well-being or a way of life. I think it goes a long way and very subtly in how people, and we'll see like through a lot of actions throughout this show, like what they had to put to the back burner in order to be a part of this lifestyle. Same thing with him right here. Like, he's struggling. He's struggling with the birthday. He's struggling with like missing his brother. But none of that shit matters because the first and most honorable pledge, I guess, that you've made is the one that we have to this mob. Like, I don't care about none of the other shit. And everybody in there really slick telling him that without trying to be as hurtful as Tony was being like, bro, like, you need to get that shit behind you, because the first order of business is your affiliation with this family. Like, I think that this scene goes a long way at telling that. And there's a lot of other things in The Sopranos that go with doing that, but like just letting people know that the mob is the first thing. Ain't no family, ain't no wife, ain't no mama, like none of that shit. This is first.
I love Chris not being able to read a room. Like, classic Chris.
Oh my gosh.
Like,
oh my god.
He kept going.
You know what I mean? Whether he didn't have to, whether he knew or not knew about Tony ordering a hit on Philly, it's just the fact that you wouldn't say that to somebody who lost a twin anyway.
Yeah.
Just even if it was some kind of like accident. The fact that you asking all these questions, who was older? Ain't there some twin telepathy thing? Like, and Tony just looking over like, nigga.
Right. Yeah. Help me.
Wow.
Please.
Yes, like, please help me.
Me.
Help me.
Me. Like,
Tony just trying to switch the subject. Furio not knowing what's going on. Are you the identical or the other type? Like, just that Tony just wanted to switch that subject, right? It was hilarious.
And
and that guilt that you carry when you know you're the one that did some shit.
Yeah.
Because his other guy's new capo, he did the same thing.
Oh, Gigi?
Yeah. Gigi. Like, they both had that look on their face because they knew they was guilty compared to everybody else.
There was only a couple niggas at the table that knew what was going on.
Right. But Seal, he know how to carry it.
Oh, right. Yeah. Seal is
people know how to carry it. Paulie know how to carry it.
Seal is you talk about cold. Seal is, we talk about the coldest, and I don't mean from a talent level.
I don't even say cold though. Like, this is my job, bro.
I know, but
this is what you signed up to do.
Okay,
it ain't got nothing to do with cold. Like, this is
it do.
I don't know.
Here's why
I disagree with you.
Because Spike, you have an idea that because I signed up for this, I'm a robot now. I'm no longer human. No, bro, it don't work that way. Because while you're gonna do it, because you signed up for it, you know the risk. When it's in real time, there is still an emotional connection. It's like, okay, how am I gonna? Because we'll see later. Say it. I put the grief behind me. Like, so it's like, even a mob guy, I still feel things, bro. That's Tony's in therapy because he still feel things. So when I
talk about, he can get away with feeling things. Them other niggas, the rest of the niggas sitting at the table, ain't no feelings involved, bro.
I don't think it's tied to that.
You have to deal with this and you got to move on. Ain't no time to sit here and talk about it. Ain't no time for nobody to think that you may go to the police and talk about this. There's no time for any of that, bro. Only person that can feel those type of feels is Tony.
Going to Spike's point, cross-reference another show. Reminds me of Raising Kanan. That scene between Rock and Lou. When she told him, like, I got the scrap shit wrong. I fucked that scrap shit up. I got to deal with that. Like, can you do it? Like, you can't deal with that. You can't carry that weight with you. It's kind of that type of thing where, yes, I am fucked up. But if I let this emotion get into it, all of us dead. None of us eat. So it's kind of, I get what Spike is saying in that sense, because whether you have emotions or not, you can feel that shit and before you go to bed, you can feel it before you leave out in the world. But once you step out of your crib, everything you do has to be involved with this mob life. Even you can't even soak for a second. Remember Tony in season 1, the first hit, Tony was soaking kind of out of it. And that's how them two dudes even crept up on Tony. That would never happen if Tony was alert.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of them things, like, you got to block all of that out, no matter how difficult it is. Yes, you can have them, Mo, but you can't even bring them to the forefront, because what good is that going to do you?
This is a part of it. Like, if you signing up for this, you're signing up for, like, nah, I got to leave this shit at the door, bro. Like, there's nowhere you can talk about that shit. Like, again, unless you Tony talking to Dr. Melfi. Otherwise, leave that shit at the door, and we got to deal with the problems at hand.
Yeah, which really in real time, Tony would have been clipped. Like, you can't have a therapist, like, being a mob boss. You're talking. Like, you can't, there's not even a, but this is a TV show. We're not gonna go deep into like the mob rules, but I'm not saying, I agree with everything I'm saying. You absolutely got to leave it at the door. All I'm saying is it does not make it less challenging because I have to do this. That's all I'm saying. It's not to say, because I signed up for this, I don't feel these things, or I gotta, Yeah, you do got to put that to the side. I got to put the grief behind me, absolutely. But I also am saying it's like there's some people that are super good at burying it deep, like Silvio.
Yeah,
like he buries it so deep, he almost looks like he's unfazed.
That's why he's good at his job, though.
That's what I'm saying, though. That's what I'm saying. So
versus
I'm like, that's why I say cold. Like, cause I'm not gonna even spoil a later character in the car drive, and even like but like. It's even just
Patsy. Like you ain't even got to spoil a later character. Just Patsy. That's why Patsy's not good at what he do. That's why he gets switched from Junior's crew. That's why he gets switched from Junior's crew to Tony's crew, and he out there like what we about to get to in the later scenes and doing the bullshit that he doing. You're not good at what you do, bro.
No, I don't think that's
you
true.
Emotionally.
I don't think that's true.
I differ. We'll talk about it.
They didn't pick him up.
You're not good at what you do.
They didn't pick him up because he wasn't good, bro.
Well, they picked him up because they felt sorry for him. I killed your brother. Now I want you to have a home. Like Tony said, you were able to buy your daughter a house, right? Like you've been good since you got over here. They picked him up because they felt sorry for killing his brother.
But that didn't mean that
he ain't good at what he do. If he was good at what he does,
what do you gather that? What do we gather?
Because we would have never got the stuff that he did. Like we would have never got the pit. I don't want to spoiler alert, but we would have never got the visit to Tony's home or anything like that. Like it shows that he's not cut out for this. You sitting here at the table.
Okay, well, I'll wait till we get.
Wait.
Okay,
you're sitting here at a table full of gangsters talking about how sad you are. You lost your brother. Where's that going to register at? We're gangsters, bro. We do this shit for a living. I don't give a fuck if you lost your brother. Why are you sitting right here sad talking about this shit? We don't care about this. This is what we do. This is what happens in the lifestyle that we live.
Oh my gosh. You gonna act like
Gigi even said those words. That's what happens in his life. We all chose it.
This is a part of it, bro.
It is.
Take that shit to your wife or your mom or whoever you want to talk to this about. But we right here, like we eating, we having fun. We're doing the thing that mobsters do when you talking about your dead brother, bro. Get out of here. We
can talk about it deeper when we get to a later scene.
All right, man.
Yeah. We can talk about it deeper when we
get to it. Mo, you shaking your head like I'm not telling the truth, but I'm telling you that's how it is. That's how cold the world is.
I think it's a part of it. But we act like Tony hasn't, like, we ain't got to those moments in later seasons, but we act like, oh, this is the one way it's got to be. But we see Tony do the exact. Chris is going to
do it with gangsters. He don't do it with gangsters.
Okay.
He might do it with Melfield, or might do it with Carmella, but he don't do it in a room full of gangsters.
Okay, I'm gonna lock that thought. I'm gonna lock that one. I'm gonna bring it back when we get to a point in time of that. But it is hilarious to me though, like how he tried to speed the grief up. Yeah, but anyways, like, dude, like, just like, yeah, let's move on, bro. Like, lead the morbid stuff with Junior's crew, like. Yeah, bro, that was hilarious to me.
Over here now,
that kind of plays right in the Spice Point, man. like speed
this
shit
now,
up, bro.
Like, what we talking about?
You ain't about to get no sympathy at this table.
Right.
No,
happy birthday, my nigga.
Y'all the lost people, nigga. You want some champagne for your birthday, nigga?
I absolutely, I get it. I mean, I just think that while all these mob guys, they're solid, they're soldiers. You know, if you know the stakes, then you understand that. I just think that there's always these moments where a flaw will come out. We get a later flaw of Silvio when a position changes for him. We're like, oh, Silvio ain't necessarily what we thought he was. We get moments where Chris is like, kind of, you talking a little too much later down the road. We get all of these, Paulie, we was like, oh, Paulie's kind of trying to set up a different play. We get these flaws from all of them. So I just don't label him one thing because of a moment of his flaw or his chink in his armor being showed. That's it. That's all I'm saying. It's like, we talk about it, so I don't label people on, like, label these guys on, oh, because of this is who you are now. I like to get a whole observation before saying it. Now, were you trash or you garbage in that moment? Absolutely. But let me keep watching and see where we label you at the end of the whole thing. That's all I'm saying, really. But to each his own. They're spying on Carm and Adriana, and oh man, I know we got so much material right now. This is so great because we're in real time of what's happening. Anybody got some real information or some real news about Okay, hold on. Let me backtrack. Let me
Anybody got some real information? You might as well give it to him.
Yeah, man, go ahead, bro.
Nah. Who was the one that sent it in our group, in our good earners
I sent it.
trap? All right, can you enlighten us? Enlighten us, Spike. What's going on?
Yeah, Adriana got an OnlyFans.
Adriana,
as far as I've seen, it's real, and it's her in today's date doing OnlyFans.
Has anybody got a membership? Anybody got a membership?
Andrea Mateo, I forget. I don't know if I'm pronouncing her name right, but in real life, she has an OnFans.
But I do want to see it. Yeah, I want to see that.
I can't,
especially after this
she's
episode.
50 plus.
After this episode, you be like, yeah, I need to see that.
This is promo. This is the promo.
This is the code that she looked.
This is a promo she should have ran for the OnlyFans. This episode right here.
This right here. This is, I mean, bro. Like when we talk ab work, like, I mean, come on, like we just need a sidebar here. Like Adriana LaServa right here is so in her bag, and she has some great moments season 1 as well as season 2. But like right here, obviously, like, you know, God don't transport me now. That's what the dude was like looking through the binoculars, because she just killing this
part, nigga.
Like
she fit the part. I think one of the best things that they did with this was them showing how they were like just head over heels for her. It shows how how more of an important character that she was going to be leading into this series. Like you said, in the first 2 seasons, she was a waitress, she was Chrissy's girlfriend, whatever it may be. But now we get to see how much of an asset that she is to this show. Just seeing everything that she had to offer right there, and people Google guy eyeing over her and being like, okay, well, I wonder where this plays out. I think it was a great job by David Chase and the showrunners being like, this is a character that you need to pay attention to.
What'd you say, Rich?
Hey, man. Shout out to Abe, bro. That's all I can say.
Hey, man.
Shout out to Abe, man. The headlights was on.
Yeah.
Between her and the tennis trainer.
Yeah.
Lord.
Whatever her name was. The one that was trying to get on. Hey, Carl. Shout out to Carl. Hey, Carl can't keep a nigga, man.
Oh, okay. Come on. Talk about it, bro. This is what I was alluding to. Talk about it, bro. Talk about it, bro.
Car,
I want to hear.
Hey, Car, so shady, bro. Talking about, I didn't even know you was married.
So that was like, that's genius from Sopranos to let us know. So Victor is not the first. Her looking over the fence. Like, so this was like, she was getting this off because Carmela, y'all will see later, for those that are new watchers and y'all decided to watch with good earners. Shouts out to y'all that are new. But those that already know, like, this is a reoccurring theme that she gets off on. Like, she talked about Father Phil in season 1, and she said something about like you get off on sexuality, almost like you just like the aroma, the scent of it being close but not doing anything. But she's the same way, bro. Like,
but she can't keep her. She don't want. The only difference is, I think Father Phil does have a thing where he wants to get in close, but knows he can't. It's almost like a power. Yeah, like I know if I wanted to, I could, and that's good enough for me. Yeah, Adriana, I'm not Adriana. Carr wants to, low key. You know, she might not cross that line. We see some stuff in later seasons, but they just be chucking up deuces at Carmela, and it's always the same way. Just some random ass. Oh, by the way, we moving to San Diego. We out. Oh, she dumbfounded, like the same way with what was his name, Vic?
Yep.
Yeah, the same way with Vic. Like everything just ends so abruptly. Like she had no idea. He talking about, I thought I called everybody. My bad.
Yeah.
I think so highly of you, and I can't even think enough of you. I don't think enough of you to even pick up the phone and tell you that I'm leaving,
bro. Like, so
she just be in her own world.
This is number 3, so I'm keeping count. There's Father Phil season 1, Vic season 2, this season 3. Number 3, Carm. This is what Carm wants so bad, and this is what I believe. She wants so bad to be put in a situation where it's like things escalate. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I didn't see it coming, and then immediately after it'd be like, oh, I can't do this. I love my husband. I have a family, and go back to it. She wants so bad to set up a purposeful accident. Like, this is Carmella. I want to purposeful accident. I would have been like, oh, I didn't know. Oh, I never done this before. This may be my first time in life. Like, she wants that so bad. Like, it's just funny, man. Like, it's funny to me. Like, I don't judge her for it.
I mean,
like,
I think the show is set up to be like, do you blame her though?
Right.
Like, do you blame her for wanting to sleep with the contractor or the tennis person? Or like, all of these people are probably showing her more attention than Tony is.
That's true. I don't blame her. I mean, the theme of this show to me is like having something, but yet wanting something else. That is the theme I think for me, the theme of this show is coming in on the back end of things. Like everybody else before me had the best ride, and they were able to do everything they needed to do with these type of situations. But me, I had to figure out differently. I had to go all these different type of ways. And I came in on the back end of it, not when it was successful, not when it was lucrative, not when it was brewing the way that everybody else got to eat from it. I had to figure out the scraps and the different type of ways to make money from this when it was at the very end of the cycle. End, that's the thing for you, like the pilot episode concept.
Yeah, I think everything with this show shows that Tony got in on the very end of it. Like if he had got in on his dad's time or his junior's time, then he would have made money and been the person that he needed to be. But being that he got in on the very end of it, we see all the struggles that he had to deal with being a mafia boss.
Trying to kind of make the best of it.
Yeah, I got to make the best of this bullshit that y'all gave me. Y'all ruined this shit.
Yeah.
Hey, this nigga asked Karn for a letter of recommendation.
Hey, yo. It's crazy because it almost like he would have, you know what I mean? It's like he was going like.
Karn's face was crazy.
Her face was wild, bro. She was sick. Like she was, because it's almost like he was coming off like, I don't know, maybe she got a misread because it's like, I didn't even know you was married. So obviously he not wearing a ring. Obviously never brought it up in sessions. And I'm led to believe that like how, you know, redhead shawty is with Adriana. I'm imagining he's probably like that with her, even though we don't see it. So it's like, I don't know. It's crazy. I could go theorize all the way through that, but not 100%. That's why, just like you said earlier, that's the what you say, purposeful accident. What I don't know what you exactly
purposeful
said.
Accident. Yeah.
That's what she looking for. That she's not asking about if he's married or not because deep down she don't want to know. She want to stumble into something.
Yeah. That almost probably would have worked better for her. Like if she knew but he was on that same kind of wavelength, that might have worked better. Like for her. Like if she knew you was like married, it's like I think it might have worked better for her. That's crazy. But shouts out to Carmella, man. But he did have a compliment for her. He was saying that like she had like perfect muscle tone, which I think it's interesting. And Carmella definitely she's in great shape. Like that's not because we see Adriana and she's the younger and she's like the fiery, foxy. Let's not take no credit from Carmella putting in the work. She's in great shape, and we're definitely going to see that in season 5. You know, there's going to be a camera shot, and it's a great one. And you're going to figure out what they've been talking about. But I think it's a great callback to season 1. Hit is a hit when they Chris and Adriana were talking about her like overly working out, not having nothing to do, and now all of a sudden Adriana's kicking it with her. So it's just a little callback there, a little nod. AJ and his friends. AJ is hanging with the boys at a convenience store, smoking cigs, living that good old white boy suburban want to be down high school life. Do y'all want to get more into it, or do y'all think we talked about it enough from the early?
Fucking losers, man. We talked about it enough.
Talked about it enough.
Losers.
What y'all think about the football? The only other thing I was going to mention is Egon, I think is his name. He gets dropped off.
Mm-hmm.
And then the first thing he asks is, what class you guys skipping? Like, who dropped you off? Your parents? Like, they dropped you off knowing you're supposed to be at school?
Why did they drop you off right there knowing that you had to go to school? Rich man, you be locked in, bro. Like, I was thinking the same thing. Like, why? Whose parents are dropping them off at a store in the middle of the day with a football jersey on? With niggas right there smoking cigarettes, drinking Snapples. Like, bro, come on, bro.
Dang, that's crazy.
But I ain't never grew up in suburban America. So no, maybe that's normal for them.
Hey, yo, hey, anybody that's listening that's not black, yo, give us some context if you like what's on that. Like, please
tell
do.
us about
like,
that.
you was a freshman, sophomore,
tell us how
high
it
school,
was skipping school and
all that.
Yeah, how you got to get away with smoking cigarettes in front of the pizza parlor at 11:30 on a Monday.
Yeah, I'm looking at the scene right now. I was about to say maybe it was his big brother.
I'm looking at the same thing.
That's an adult.
Nah, it's
dropping
like
him off
a
at the
mom.
corner.
A mom is dropping him off right there with the jersey on. He the only person with the jersey on. They making fun of him for having the jersey on and supposing to have been in school, but yet he got dropped off with niggas that wasn't in school. I don't get it.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe that was a continuity error. Like maybe we were supposed to. I don't know. Like because that seemed like it don't line up to me. I don't see any parents doing anything remotely like that. Like I'm gonna drop you off to the store to hang out with your friends during school hours. I don't know.
He did give a little resistance when he got out the car. It was like they asked him something and he kind of like bucked back. So maybe
he came from the orthodontist.
Yeah, maybe he'll spoil a little kid or something like that and he can get it off. But the rest of the 7 niggas standing there, like, I don't get it.
So I did like the fact that.
How did AJ get.
What?
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I just like the fact. Again, I agree with you, like this underachiever, mad underachiever, like to the umpteenth power. But like, I did like the idea that while they were dogging dude, like saying, oh, you're going to get this is going to happen to you. I like the fact that AJ was interested in something. He thought it was cool. I just wish the trajectory stayed on this, but we'll see that it won't. You know, I'm not spoiling too much there, but I do wish that it stayed there. I wish he would have been a varsity athlete. I think that comedic, that would have been great later. But anyways, they kind of
about not having the makings of a varsity athlete.
Boy,
shit,
man, nigga.
It's not in that gene pool. It's like they just bounce back. They go down. They're checking Tony Sopranos. They're trying to find the best sound place for when the air conditioners turned on. Then they pan back to AJ and them. They're smoking the cigs and stuff like that. I'm gonna keep it pushing here. It's funny because the police officer's there, but he's not busting them for skipping school nor smoking cigs because the operation's so much bigger than like busting these teenagers for underage smoking and all that. But
man, that's beneath him.
Oh, it's definitely beneath.
He ain't no truancy officer. He's like, fuck them kids.
Yeah. Ain't got nothing to do with me. Right?
Yeah.
Like, let them run their own life.
Absolutely. We get to Meadows' dorm and Caitlin comes in and she's singing songs and Meadow is asleep trying to wake up. She's singing "Fight" right through the. I knew when I seen this character. I said, I know Spike Lee is about both Spike y'all. Like her. I know. I said y'all about to like.
You know, I wasn't on season one, but I wasn't on season one, but obviously I listened to every episode in real time.
Yeah.
And just knowing about her character, I just like, man, that reminds me of an old girl in season one that was sleeping with the coach and cutting her wrist and stuff like that. I just remember specifically Spike being like, I hate this shit.
Bro, I was like, God, what is wrong with this guy? I was like,
y'all got me. Y'all got me. This
that was like, a crazy.
We talking about HBO series and characters right there with McNulty, Joffrey Baratheon.
I hate
Meadows' roommate is right there with me as far as least favorite characters ever in the history of HBO series, bro. I cannot stand.
She's after AJ or before AJ?
Oh my God. She before AJ.
Oh, she's
AJ at least. Yeah, AJ at least has some positive qualities throughout the 6 seasons of Sopranos that we've seen. But this bitch, excuse me, this lady, this girl.
I cannot wait to hear what positive
she worked my nerves.
Oh man,
every time she was on the scene, bro.
Yeah, there was only one time that she didn't work my nerve, and it's the theory of the joint being caught.
But she do got one of the funniest scenes on Sopranos when the chick had the the newspaper thong on.
It's just like the idea of like, hey, I need to study. Oh, you need to study. All right. Yeah, that's cool. Like, because I know we all went to college, so I know the play. They didn't say it, but like, that's one of the theories. That's the only time I like Caitlin. It's what I think the idea that like she might have took one for the team.
No, you a fool, man.
That's funny.
That's the only time that I liked her.
I didn't like her at one moment in
man.
any episode of any season of any scene. Like she was my least favorite character ever.
I know this episode was really one of those ones.
Other than this, the maid's husband. This nigga was he was a loser too.
Oh man, I can't. We're gonna get there.
That nigga was a loser too.
Yeah, but Caitlin's living a real freshman week. All that she's getting to it. I thought this was genius by David Chase and the writers using the FBI having to follow. I spoke about it before, but just like having to follow all the characters to catch us up instead of doing a montage. I thought that was anything else y'all get from this like dorm scene or whatever.
Nah.
Okay.
Nah.
All right. Then we get Spike's least favorite character in this episode. The maid and her husband. They're on a picnic and he's trying to
awesome man.
He's trying to figure out how to get, his green card, so to speak. And every answer he has is Martin Luther King. Oh, man.
Hey, it was funny because can you think about if you were doing it with your chick and you would try to get like some like green card or whatever it may be to some nation, and she keep asking you these questions that you've been studying over, and you're like, bitch, come on, man. Like, I don't want to do this right now. We're on a picnic, we eating lunch together. I just thought it was funny how he was handling it, bro. It was really fun.
Yeah, and it finds out he's like he's more of a brilliant dude from where he comes from, but like he's like living under his calling. I thought that was a real interesting aspect with him.
Me in America.
Yeah.
Usually how it works.
Yeah, it's usually how it works. Anything else I get from this little picnic thing? I mean,
nah, man, it's not.
I will be real. We don't need this, bro. We don't need this.
I think we're gearing up for season 6 and what we needed to be able to deal with.
What? Whoa. What?
In the sense of it wasn't going to be everything was directly associated with Tony Soprano and how he was moving in his day-to-day, but just the associate things that happened during the storytelling of this show. The maid, the FBI, all the other different stuff that had to do with Tony Soprano. And I think they try to add to that with this.
It's all a big nothing.
Yeah, all a big nothing. Great point.
Great point. That was a 3-pointer and one right there.
It was. It was an LJ.
Yeah, it really was.
It was Knicks. Rich know what I'm talking about, bro.
Mo had no idea. Shout out to LJ.
How about you mean play basketball?
The LJ shot, bro.
White man can't jump out here.
That was funny.
Yeah, so, but I think it's probably just a nod to what you were speaking about earlier with the mob, the maid, the thing, sleeping with his maid. I think that's the only read, but like the maid stuff to me was so weak. I would have rather had the dream sequences from Funhouse. And we spoke about that if y'all are listeners of the show, like how we felt about the dream sequences. That's how I felt about the maid thing. I would rather have had those or even the flashbacks and Down Neck than this, because I was just like, bro, I don't care. She's not even like there's no significance later at all with this character. But anyways, the feds, I
agree with you. It was weak, but I wouldn't rather have the dream sequence.
I know. You rather be in real time. I get it.
It was weak though.
I get it. Yeah. I guess you just whichever's less worse. Yeah. I think that we get, I may have skipped some. I think I missed something.
No, you good.
Okay.
Now we at the feds.
Okay, we at the feds. Okay, I thought just yeah. So we get the feds. They're kind of they're looking at the camera work. You know, they got the tape on FaceTime. You know what I'm saying, with the iPhone joint in 2000. You know what I'm saying? He FaceTiming them, showing them what Tony basement look like. They just trying to find a good spot and a good hiding spot, and then they see, look at that. There is a lamp. That lamp could be something we could use. And they look at the water heater. Skips tells them, hey, that water heater maybe got 6 months on it. And boy, was he wrong. And that's just about it that I got from this. Anything I get from this observational scene that when they were looking at everything here?
Yeah, man. The fans feel the same way we do about AJ. Look, all of that's just for Anthony Jr. They paid all that food.
They think the same way we do. That's a good pull, Rich.
Hey, bro, they say all that
Nobody
shit.
gives a fuck about
They
AJ.
couldn't help themselves but to crack a joke like that. That must be for AJ fat ass.
Facts.
Oh,
AJ's such an easy puncher bag, man. Everybody know he a loser, man.
Yeah, you're right though. It's so crazy that like David Chase has said that like he didn't understand why people hated AJ. It's wild to me. I every time when I've seen that, I was like, "Are you kidding? What do you mean, Chase? Like how
lovable characteristic about AJ?
There's nothing like we don't respect. Y'all didn't even give him a chance to have anything respectable. Carm is one of those characters like, bro, you can hate her, but there's some respectable parts to me. Like if we're looking at the whole observation, Janice, probably the most hated character in my opinion. I still have respect in certain ways where she's still trash, but she's good at being trash, so to speak. Like at least she's good at it. But AJ's not good at anything. She's on it though. She know her finesse. She know how to play it. Even if we don't like what she's doing, she's good at it. But AJ's not good at anything. And it's like, how will we like him at all? He's not good at anything. And then he got an attitude at the whole world. He has nothing to offer. But anyways, man.
In another world, there is something to be said about AJ being a sympathetic like figure.
Okay.
But this ain't the podcast for
that. Yeah. I'm more sympathetic with Janice than I would be with AJ. Honestly.
Me too.
Okay.
I'm more sympathetic with anybody on the show than AJ.
Yeah. Like I said, I'll give him grace for ignorance, but I won't give him grace for like especially his behavior towards his mom later down the road. Like I was like, I want to choke this. Like I would have choked him out, like for real. Anyways, the next day we just get a short scene. Tony went, he grabs the newspaper again, and that's pretty much it, bro. Like it ain't really much more to it than that. Tony and Gigi, they're at the Bing. Before I ask y'all about the scene, I need y'all to log off because that cookie makes me nervous. Real. Sorry, I had to get it off.
That's good.
But yeah, I believe this is the scene. Let me get my stuff adjusted here. But like he's going off again. They're following Bada Bing or Father Bing or Big Bing. They kind of jumped around with his name or whatever. But Seal didn't seem interested in this. Do y'all think Seal had advised otherwise on Tony whacking Philly when they were trying to figure out when Gigi was talking to Tony about Patsy saying like, hey, Patsy really likes being here, but he's still grieving. He has an issue with this, and everybody had, Paulie was like, look, I can whack him too. Like whatever, it's whatever. But Seal was the only one that was like watching the game. He was just like over it. Do y'all think that maybe Seal advised against that call in season 2 to whack Philly?
I think it goes back to what Spike was saying earlier about Philly and how he's viewed as excuse me, not Philly, but Patsy, how he's viewed as a whole. Like, I don't even know if he's serious enough I don't know if I take Patsy serious enough to even want to chip in my 2 cents. No matter what we do about him, he ain't a threat. Okay. And I think that's the way he kind of went about it. Just like, I mean, what's Patsy going to do?
Okay.
You know what I mean? Do what you want with him. It's whatever. He ain't got it in him. He ain't built like that.
Yeah. I agree.
He went wrong.
Yeah. Facts. He ain't a dude that I got to worry about.
Yeah, that's not a situation that's worth me taking the eyes off this golf match.
Facts.
Okay. I like that Paulie line. We always have the option. Like, I love when I'm a huge fan when people lead you up to the bar without saying the bar. I don't know why. That's in battle rap, rapping, anything. I love when people lead you up to it, but don't say the bar and you put it together. So I love that line from Paulie. It's like, we always had the option. You know what that means. So I really like that.
I will say this about this scene though. They did bring up a good point, and we talked about it a little bit earlier. But man, to go into work every day and look in the eyes of the person that whack your brother.
Your brother.
And the emphasis on the point, not just be there, you got to smile in his face too.
Yep.
like I love the point that Gigi brought that up. Like, like I guess this goes to your point earlier, Mo. Like there's some emotion that goes into that.
Mm-hmm.
That this ain't just going away. This isn't just one of them problems. Like I'm telling you about it. Mm-hmm. We thought it was an issue first. Now we're hearing it's an issue. Mm-hmm. Now we got to do something before it becomes an issue. Mm-hmm. So them bringing that up because it gives us that other side of it. If we look at it from Patsy's side, then hell yeah.
How do y'all think Gigi feel about this? I was looking at his looks from before when they were having the little lunch, and it's kind of like, all right, well, happy birthday and stuff, and then here having this conversation. How do y'all think Gigi feel about this?
I think like anybody else in that world that would be in that position. The whole point of doing dirt is to move, silently. You do your deed and then it's over with. It's never talked about again. Big P said it best. They know, but they don't know. Mm. He's worried about that twin telepathy. Ain't nothing like knowing you did something wrong, mm-hmm. and the person you did it wrong to knows too, even though it's never discussed. Mm. You guys know, or just the unknown of knowing. Like maybe he knows, maybe he doesn't. We know he blames Tony. Mm-hmm. We know he knows Tony called the hit. Mm-hmm. Patsy may not know directly who it is, but since he's got that guilty conscience, mm-hmm. he's always going to carry it that way. So he's just more concerned about, man, like what's this going to turn into? Because if he knows I killed his brother, then anybody in this life they're gonna want for revenge.
Yep, I agree with Rich. I think Gigi is looking at it like, how are y'all gonna hold me down? Like this nigga asking all these questions, he doing all these different things. Like I don't give a fuck about none of that. I did what y'all asked me to do. I made my pledge to this lifestyle or whatever it may be. But in the end, how are y'all gonna hold me down when this motherfucker start asking these questions? And that's why I got to get this information to Tony, tell him what I've been hearing. Let me know what y'all think. Because I want to kill him too. Because I don't want him coming back because I killed his brother. Mm-hmm.
I almost feel like I didn't get that kind of read on Gigi. And the only reason I didn't get that kind of read is because we'll get some things later as far as like how he is with his crew and kind of how he's bothered by things. And I just always... I don't feel like Gigi's like some emotional dude, like, or whatever, like, but I just always felt like he cared a little bit more than that, in my opinion, just on how he's dealt with his crew. But we'll get there, and maybe we'll spin the block on what his characteristics really are. But I just always felt like there was this weird thing where it's like, I'm not so much bothered like I'm threatened. I'm more so bothered like, I mean, I acted out a hit because the boss told me to, but like, dang, like, we got to have Smilers do, like, at least... I don't even really, you know what I mean? I just feel like he would probably want it to be a little different, kind of. So that's why I think he's doing this, but we'll see how it goes. Nonetheless, like I said, you can't have this emotion going into it, but I just look at it like there is something there for Gigi, but he had to act on the boss's, orders. Carmen aid.
I'm thinking about the hit. I'm thinking about the hit itself, man. And Gigi was completely on board.
Yeah.
He was completely on board.
How was he
knew that
that
had to be done.
He wanted to do that.
Yeah, when he picked him up, the whole play.
To do that.
Remember, Philly was talking. He was already spilling the beans about Tony smothering his mom, and Gigi's telling him, "Hey, man, you should be quiet." I'm just telling you, like Gigi didn't give me any kind of indication that he was doing that because it was placed on him.
Well, look,
you know what I mean. Going back to Raising
he
Kanan.
Did that because
when Lou had to put down Kanan's dude. That was something he didn't want to do, but he did it anyway. I didn't get that vibe from Gigi.
Hold on. Spike, you said, I think at that point it was still me and you. You said, I asked you, I said, did he go into this knowing that no matter what, I got to get you out because you've been talking? Or did he go into it saying, if he keeps talking, I'm going to do it. If he shut up about it, he might get to live. You said, nah, he was, no matter what, that was happening.
Yeah, that was the order.
Okay, so then that's what I'm saying. So it ain't really like I got a choice in the matter. Like it's got to be done. Like it wasn't.
But what I'm saying but you can get an order and not agree with it and not want to do it. Like I said, I brought up Raising Kanan again in the very first episode. Kanan's boy had to get put down. Streets need a body. Mm-hmm. Lou didn't want to do that shit, and it was very well known that Lou did not want to do that shit.
Yeah, but
I didn't get any of that emotion from Gigi in the same situation. Yeah, it was an order. It was a hit. But as soon as he did it, you big mouth motherfucker, like he cussed him out when he did it, all types of shit. Got up out of there. Like, bro, you run your mouth too much. You a liability. And Gigi's still working up the ranks. Like, I'm going to do my part. He ain't got no voice on side of that.
All right, you're right. But let's not like take context out of Raising Cain and them guys were teenagers and they wasn't experienced in the mob. Like, it's like this is your first hit.
But Lou wasn't. Lou was experienced. That's my whole point.
Yeah, but he wasn't really. But Lou wasn't really a killer. He was a hustler.
But you got to be those things in that world. My whole point is, Gigi knows what the lifestyle he signed up for is. Like they all do.
Yeah.
So when you get a hit like that, you're supposed to carry out that hit and just leave it where it is. Like I didn't get any sense. Like damn, man, Philly, just shut up, bro. I'm trying not to do this, but you're making it easy for me. It was none of that. It was straight up. Like I just
don't think they wrote him in that way though. Like that's all. I just don't think they wrote him in that way. But I don't think that we'll just keep watching Gigi. But like I think maybe there'd be more revealed as far as like how his character is examined. Because like to me, when he's running Tony talking about these things and he's even in front of him having this thing, I don't think he's looking like he's in fear of Patsy. I think he just looks like damn, like
because he's involved. If this is Paulie that did if Paulie did the hit. Gigi probably wouldn't be paying attention. He'd probably be like Seal watching the golf shit. Like, I don't even care what y'all doing, but he's directly involved. I pulled the trigger on your brother, and I know you got this twin telepathy thing. Like, I'm caught up emotionally. Like, I got to know, for my peace of mind, I got to know that this thing is put to bed. That's why I'm coming to Tony with it. Like, what are we going to do about Patsy? Because this is going to be a problem.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? His close involvement with it is what's driving it. That's his driving force.
Okay.
If he was just on the outside, if he was a Chris in this situation, if he was a Seal, if he was a Paulie and had nothing to do with it, he wouldn't give two shits about it.
Got you. Okay. Yeah. I can see that. Okay. Carm and Aid are playing tennis. And this instructor, redhead shawty over here, she's playing. Carm is doing her thing. You know, she got the legit tennis fit on, looking very experienced. We got Adriana Lacerva with her first OnlyFans appearance right here with the headlights rocking. What's up with this instructor, bro? I got a couple questions.
What you mean? What's up? Like you know what's up? What you mean? What's up,
bro? Don't tell me what's up. No, somebody tell me what's up. Why?
What you mean? What's up, man? You know
like, cause she came, bro. You know, she came off like the gay chick that is with her girl in the store.
Hey, man.
And you're around, and she happened to look at you, and then they mad. Then they mad at you, like you trying to pursue their girl, like type deal. Like she came off mad cock blockish. I was like, bro,
press, bro.
Yeah. I just thought that was like, yo, relax, dude. Like. She got a ring. I don't know. It was weird. Like she was weird to me. Like,
didn't care. She was at Adriana.
Yeah, facts.
I wonder. Do y'all think because Christopher has a read later in the seasons of like another female kind of feeling like she's possibly coming on to her, even though that's not what it is. Does A give that energy off? Because I don't know. Yes. Oh, she does. Okay.
Hey, like you got the little bitty shorts on coming out here doing the tennis. Like, come on, bro.
Yeah, I mean, because like she did kind of double back. Once you found out it wasn't a male instructor, you still got the
little bitty shorts on. Like the girl looking at her like, and A so oblivious, she ain't even paying attention to it. And she like playing into it. Oh, well, teach me how to do the swing and stand behind me and hold my hips. Like, come on, bro.
And listen, that's an Adriana character trait. That's not just for this scene. Like,
yeah, that's true.
Aid is oblivious to people that like her.
Yes.
Like, and we see that in a few episodes from now.
Mm-hmm.
There's another situation that she's gonna find herself in where she's like, "Oh shit, I didn't know you thought it was that."
It was going down like this. Exactly. Great point.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Had the earring in and everything.
She just be oblivious to certain things, man. She's just out of it.
Yeah, that's which is funny because that's a perfect fit for Chris. You know, we get Carm. She pretty much gets the tennis balls up and everything. I feel like this is it for Carm. I don't think she come back to tennis after this. I'll be honest with you. I think this is
because she only came for a dude And now I'm here. I'm still sticking around because I told Adriana we was gonna do something.
Yeah.
Now she on you. She got me collecting them. Nah, you got me fucked up for one.
That's a wrap.
What you mean? Hold on. What do you mean? I collect while y'all work on moves.
Get balls? Are you fucking kidding?
Yeah, Adriana don't even pay the membership here,
bro. She riding off Carm's membership. You know she is. Like you can bring a friend.
But
like,
I'm saying, yeah, man.
Nah, you cut off. You cut off. But yeah, we get some back and forth panning between the Soprano house and the tennis joint, and come to find out the maid, the cheeks are getting clapped, and they're doing it in the Sopranos bedroom. I mean, gotta feel like you got some
so.
You don't think so? Where they at then?
I think that they hear because the only reason when she's saying, "Oh my God," I think that's them realizing that the water busted.
But they were looking upstairs. That's where the binoculars was.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but maybe they were trying to use a sink or something. My whole thing is that because right after, and you could be right. What I'm saying is, right after this scene, everybody gets a call to come home. Like the maids wouldn't have called home. The maids wouldn't even reached out to the Sopranos had they been in there getting it in.
Okay.
But I will say this: before my first time ever watching this, I thought they was getting it in too. That's a classic TV trope. You know what I mean? The owners of the house gone when they're getting it in.
For sure.
But like I said, the only thing that changes is right after this, everybody gets the emergency call to come home. We see Carmela's cell phone ring, Tony Little Bing, they come straight
Bada
here.
Bing, Baby Bing, all the Bings. And they pretty much everybody trying to get back, like you said. The house floods. Boy, I would be so mad. We get a picture of Tony and Carm's prom picture. I thought that was a pretty adorable little nod there. Thought that was pretty dope. The feds having to be there every Tuesday. That's we find out that information. So they're only there once a week because all of the schedules fit in that time. Tuesday. As far as AJ, Carm's tennis sessions, Tony going to meeting up with the fellas. So Tuesdays is what they're doing. So who knows how many Tuesdays occurred. I'll talk a little bit about the edit stuff, but whatever. Anything I get from that part of it when the house floods or anything like that?
Yes, man. I got a ad that we're dropping in for the new season for the house floods and things that happen in Sopranos world. This is from Wise Guys Plumbing, servicing all plumbing's need in northern New Jersey, specializing in water heater services. Did your basement flood prevent your home from being bugged by the feds? If so, man, you want it all cleaned up by the guys who are now that you can call their job and do it as far as Wise Guys Plumbing. Wise Guys Plumbing is specializing in northern New Jersey and helping wise guys get to what they need to be as far as avoiding Fed placements in their home. So, man, check out Wise Guys Plumbing in northern New Jersey.
I mean, what's the number? Where do I call?
1-800-WISE guys.
1-800 WISE guys. Come on, we gotta put the whole joint together. All right, man. Shots out.
Check out 1-800-WISE guys, man. If you're in northern New Jersey, man, you got plumbing problems, anything where you need to get help. Even the feds are trying to bug your house, you got your shit getting backed up. It's Wise Guys Plumbing.
I like it. That's fire. Call Wise Guys now. That was good. That was really, really good. You blew my mind away there. Pause. We're back to the stakeout, and they talk to Jeannie Cusimano. She almost reveals, I think they're in the mob, and then she shuts it down. It's funny because she doesn't speak to what she think they are, but it's funny. We see Chris and how easily Chris will say everything, and he's in the mob. Just a little nod there. I also forget how much Gigi is like a real player here. Like I kind of forget that story. Like he was like really a player before we get to the Ralph Cifaretto storyline, and then I forgot who else takes over the crew. But yeah, we get the Patsy P's in the pool. What do y'all get from this whole sequence?
From this whole sequence, there's one more advertisement, Mo. It's Stugat's pool cleaning service, the best pool cleaning service in North New Jersey. Our motto is, if people are pissing in your pool, there's only one way you want to come out and make your people around it forget about it, and that is Stugat's pool cleaning service, man. Call us if people are pissing in your pool. We'll make you forget about it. So you can give us a call, and that is the Dirty Pool Watch. We get all your dirty pool watches whacked by today. Stugat's pool cleaning service.
Bravo.
Yo, Spike is different. Like he said, nah, I ain't got one, I got 2 ads today. Why? Oh, I love it. This is fire. This is why we do this. Come on,
man. I'm weak.
Where y'all getting this type of Sopranos podcast, bro? I guarantee we're gonna be number 1 after this season. Come on.
Yep. People are pissing in your pool, man. Call us. Stugat's pool cleaning.
Stugat's pool cleaner.
Hey, come on, man.
Man, come on, bro. You make me really want to come up with a nice, dope ad, because that's fire. Stugat's pool cleaner. But yeah, so we get Patsy. You know, Gigi comes over. He's hollering at Tony like, "Yo, this is what's up." I'm gonna ask a question a little later about this peeing scene with Patsy, but I'm gonna let it marinate. I know we've been kind of rocking along for a little bit. Pause. I know some people like the longer episodes, but we're almost about at the end of the episode, truly. We get this meeting from Agent Harris and what?
Can I say something?
Yeah,
Can I say something real quick before you get into it?
Yeah.
Just going back to something I said earlier about the feds just being. And Spike made a great point about if this was McNulty, Freeman, Bunk, it'd be completely different. Just how clueless they were. They were almost scared shitless when they saw Patsy. They had no idea what to do, how to handle it, what their recourse was in case something went left. And it's just a good point out to they all have to think. They have to be good at thinking on their feet. Like, not what happens if something goes off script? What are you gonna do? When we see them freeze up, one of them pulls out the gun. They just standing there. My man got a gun pointed at going to Tony Soprano, and they just trying to figure it out.
Facts.
Yeah.
Just the looks on their face, like, how did you even get this job?
Facts.
That's yeah, cool. I'm so glad you said that, because I would have hated to miss that and be like, what about? Yeah, that was great callback. They're back at it again. After the Agent Harris and I don't remember the other gentleman detective, they talk or whatever, and that's where we get the Mr. Ruggerios, or however you say it. And they're back at it again. The maid gets stopped. Adriana, panties are showing. They start moving things in the basement. Meadow and Hunter reunite, and Caitlin is anxious, I guess. I just kind of bundled those all together because it's just kind of like, again, what we were talking about earlier, Spike, where it's like they kind of just jump back and forth with everything over and over. Anything I get from this sequence?
No.
Just going back to what I just said, you got another moment when the maid is trying to leave the lunch early because her husband pissed her off. Mm-hmm. And the Fed following her realized that and had to stop in and jump and all right, let me make sure I delay this so we can get our job done. The other side of that whole thinking on the fly, how are we going to keep this job going? So yeah, I just wanted to point that out. And dude pulling up like, can I help you? I'm talking to my wife and shit.
Yeah, man. I wonder how Drea, I think that's her name, Drea DiMatteo, felt about the panty shot, because
she got OnlyFans, man.
No, well, before that, whatever. But we know she has OnlyFans now. But before that, and whatever happened there, I wonder what she felt, because it was they're all up in the joint. It's there, it's very much there. The other chick, she covered, she good, but her, she definitely got
she probably wondering, can this make me money?
Boy,
cool.
It's a little side information. Drea DiMatteo, that does play Adriana LaServa, she actually says she wishes she would have milked that character a little bit more, as far as just playing in that mob world. she didn't play that character. She didn't really go back into that space really ever, but because she didn't really want to. But she has spoke about it in her own podcast, just saying that like she wish she would have kind of milked it because she did like playing this character a lot more. Because I think after this she went into a spinoff of Friends, which was Joey, and she played like his sister on there. And the show didn't.
She was also on Sons of Anarchy too.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The whole duration.
Yeah, she was Jack Seller's baby mama.
Oh, nice. Okay. All right.
She had a drug problem and all that, so it was a biker gang. It was a little bit different, but not the whole duration. But
okay,
yeah, man, Sons, man. I know you never watched it, but Sons.
I know. We spoke about some stuff. I wanted to tell y'all too that people was definitely. It's not happening, but people was like on board, was like, hey, yo, y'all should definitely do Game of Thrones, niggas on the throne. And I told y'all that it would never be that title. Like this
niggas on the throne, Mo. Shut up, man.
I wouldn't. Nah, bro. I never.
Niggas on the throne. That's it.
Who's a nigga? I ain't. No. I would be that guy.
Niggas we ain't on the show.
Cersei a nigga. Jamie
Cersei a nigga. All of them niggas.
Searching the realest nigga out.
They all of
one of the realest niggas in the history of niggas, bro.
Y'all wild, bro. Everybody's nigga.
Daenerys a nigga. Jon Snow a nigga.
Yeah, I see. There you go. That's now you might be. That's a good selling point. You selling me now. You know what I mean? Nah, but
Jamie
people
definitely a nigga.
Yeah,
Jamie
people were definitely in the
man.
people were definitely in the DM like, you know, y'all should y'all should do that. Like they was like on it, and I was like,
that might be next, man.
But I told her, I was like, y'all, we got to get through this, and then I'm like, yo, that's quite the commitment. They got quite a few seasons, but we'll see what happens. We don't know what the future holds, but we'll see how y'all really rock with us. But nonetheless,
that'll be fun.
It will be fun. I mean, I love this. This is great. But I do like this shot though. This was a great shot. This was it's crazy how 23 years later we have OnlyFans. But yeah, like I said, the feds are in the basement. They set up the joint. We get, you know, David Chase's daughter, Hunter, her friend, which we haven't seen her all season 2, but she comes back for season 3. So it's a cool little nod for her to come back for just a moment or whatever, just to kind of tie back in that whole college storyline. And then this is where we get the Caitlyn anxiety thing, and it's just like this is why I feel you, Spike, where it's like, oh, all of a sudden one week you a party shawty, and now you all of a sudden anxiety and you're just upset at the whole world. Like this is real life, bro. When I was in college on campus, people really act like this. Like Rich, can you relate to that? You see that?
Yeah, man. Absolutely.
Bro. Yeah.
100%.
Okay. I'm gonna keep it moving because we don't really care nothing about no Caitlyn.
It's funny though. The one small detail is that I think they mentioned Eric Davies' son is tripping off on acid at State University.
Yep.
So just a little nod to him.
That. Wow.
Yeah, Hunter was telling Meadow about him.
Hey, I hate that for him, man, because he probably would have been all right if all that didn't happen. They just talks about the repercussions of Tony Soprano. Again, like, come on. Like, that's definitely all from Tony. Great pull. We get this Patsy and Tony at the Bing, and there's this is a very interesting transaction. I had to make a video clip for one of my IG pages. Tony's chilling in there. Patsy's doing his job. He's counting up. He's a numbers guy. He's doing the math on some stuff. And Tony says, you know, you got a problem? What was that, Tone? You got a problem. And so it's funny. I watched this scene a few times, and it's weird to me how Tony goes from like kind of like a passing thought. You got a problem? Like, wait, what was that, Tone? You got a problem. His voice drops. Then he asks him again. No, I thought you had a problem. So it's like these 3 different approaches on how he wants to handle Patsy. I don't know how intentional that was from, rest in peace, the late great James Gandolfini or Chase or who was involved to say, hey, take that approach for those 3 ways of saying, do you have a problem? You have a problem. I thought you had a problem. What did y'all gather from this scene? Because this was obviously probably like one of the best scenes of this episode.
Shows why Tony Soprano. And Tony would have been great at anything that had to do with convincing. He would have been a great defense attorney.
Mm-hmm.
He would have been anything that has to do with that because he does this magical thing of boxing you in. he leads the conversation and steers it towards the way he wants it to go, to the point where whether or not you want to agree with him, you're going to have to say it out loud. Like, he led that whole conversation. And I love how direct he is. You got a problem? Are you sure? Don't say you're sure if you're not sure. Like, he's doubling down to make sure you know that he's saying it, but he ain't saying it. Yeah. You know what we're talking about right now. When I say, are you sure? I'm not talking about how you feeling about that thing. And your brother, huh? Like, you got all that past you, and he makes the convo personal, asking about his daughter, talking about, you got a son, AJ's age, bring about a house. Pretty much like, you with me now.
Right.
Let me hear you say it. Like I said, he's putting it all to weight, because once Patsy says it out loud, if anything happens past this, now I got the green light to move how I need to move, because you told me, you know what I'm saying? In the code of this thing of ours, you told me that you moved past it and that you good with it. So I don't want to hear shit else about it.
Yeah. We always have the option.
Brother or not, twin or not. That's it. Yeah. It's a wrap.
Nailed it. Rich nailed it. Stop playing with me, bro.
Yeah.
There is no other like hierarchy. Everything that you thinking about that you think you could do, no. It stops right here with me. Nigga, do you have a problem? If you do, say that shit right now. If not, stand in line and do what the fuck I tell you to do. Like, it ain't hard. I really love how in this scene that Tony simplified this shit for him. You can go piss in my pool. You can be pissed off about your brother. All of that shit. But right now, tell me if you got a problem where you're not going to be able to do what I need you to do. And if you do, then we can make the best of that. If not, then shut the fuck up and get the fuck out of the way. Like, I really love how Tony made it really simple for him, bro. Like, you ain't got to be fighting these demons. It ain't a lot of shit you got to be able to think through. Listen to what I'm telling you and tell me what you think. And then I'll make the decision from there, because this is what you signed up for.
Tony knows how to handle personalities. And the beautiful part was, somebody who didn't have the same skill set as Tony, as soon as he said you have a problem, he said no, they'd have left it at that. Tony dug deeper. He wanted to make sure.
Cool. Like, nah, bro, you bullshit. I don't know that you went and pissed in my pool, but I still got questions. So it's just like,
or does
how do
he
you
know?
Feel about me and being in my crew? Like, I don't think he knew.
I don't think he knows, but don't say you sure. I love the part when he says that. Don't say you sure if you're not sure.
The way he said it.
That was him telling him right then. If you got anything on your chest right now, get it off.
Yeah. But like, I thought that, and it could have been, that's what makes, we talk about those open-ended things with like how David Chase positions the show. But like, there's that moment. The only reason I asked about, he says we can get something to eat. They can go in the pool. That was the last thing like Tony said before he left. So I was like, is that like ironic that he's saying that about the pool, or is it like a nod to like, yeah, I seen you, but I let you ride? So that's one of those things where it's open ended. Where
I don't.
Yeah. What?
I just think
I don't think Tony lets that slide. If he sees that,
Tony you piss in my pool, Tony gonna kill him.
Okay.
Yeah. Stop playing with me, bro. You coming to my house and you piss in my pool?
You strapped up and you pissed in my pool?
Bro, stop.
Okay.
I think that was just irony. That was him.
Yeah, it was just irony Tony, that I said that to you. Facts.
Yeah, Tony laying down the law, but also telling him, hey, you're with me now. You are a part of this family. So, yeah, your daughter's doing well. Cool. I'm glad you was able to buy her that house. Oh, your son that age, come to my crib. Break bread with me. Like, let's have some conversation. You might be pissed, but I'm letting you know you're with me. But that shit got to be dead and over with. I'm okay. That's Tony's way of saying I'm good with moving on if you are.
Yep. And if you're not, then we can handle it accordingly.
And you got to think too, Tony has a thing where last season with Bobby Bacala, I need to know where you stand. And he's like, what's the problem with me? I always liked you. I never had a problem with you. Yeah, all right. I'm just making sure. Because these are people from Junior's crew. So when he's looking at Patsy, you're from Junior's crew too. I need to make sure we up. We up or we not. You know what I mean? So I completely approve on Tony's vetting process to make sure we good.
You can't.
Because his own uncle and mother were plotting against him. You know what I'm saying? So it's like anybody that's internal, I need to know what's up. If I get any inkling, don't say you're sure if you're not sure. Don't, you know what I mean? Like,
I need to lay down his best friend.
Yeah, I need to know what time it is. You ain't gonna tell me, but I need to read what time it is, because you're not gonna come at me and secretly devise to try to get me whacked. You know what I mean? So yeah, great scene. We get our last scene. The feds are in, and they have officially installed the wire successfully. AJ is trying out for football. Tony is trying to get his water fixed. We get another. We get Tony a third time that Tony goes for the newspaper in this scene, and they're also reading the newspaper. They can only listen to what was it, 2 minutes, and then they have to wait for 45 seconds, or was it reversed? Oh no, they
can listen to 40 seconds and then wait 2 minutes to listen again.
It's relevant.
Okay,
yeah, see if it's relevant.
And I was like, man, that's a lot that can happen in between that time. But and then we just get Carmela and Tony just kind of fussing back and disagreeing about who wants to work out or whatever. And so that's pretty much the bulk of this episode.
Wait. In the midst of this disagreement, there is another ad that comes through Mo and Rich. Some Russian girl home health service.
Okay.
This is the best agency to care for your older, elderly home family members. You know, when they need a little assistance.
Yeah.
In the later years of their life, and they got stuff text that they need to help them out with it. This is the Some Russian Girl Home Health Service Network. Immediate availability is ready there for you. Call us now at 1-800-RUSSIAN, and they'll get the closest agent to you.
I think this is
Some Russian Girl Home Health Service.
This is a really bad ad right now, boy. I swear I ain't gonna get a phone call.
You missed it though. You skipped over.
My bad. Go for it.
Like that's a key plot point.
Okay.
That's a key plot point.
No, I know where you're going.
Okay. She was like, where did you get the Russian person from? Oh, some agency. Nah, nigga. That ain't how it played out.
Yeah.
So, some Russian Girl Home Health Agency, man. Y'all check that out if you're in the New Jersey area. You need help for your elderly.
I love this. This is a great addition to the show, man. Thank you. That I love that, bro. That is fire. I can't wait to throw the music behind that joint.
I got a couple thoughts on these final scenes.
Okay.
One, for some reason, I just really enjoyed that moment when the fans were trying to figure out if they should move that table or not. Like I was talking about earlier, just those spur of the moment decisions. Even thinking about like, all right, let's think about this in real world. If it did move, Tony might think Carmella moved it. Like just that thought process that you don't, when you sitting in that meeting room and you thinking of a plan, you don't think about option B, C, and D. You know what I mean? Even the fact that they noticed that the table was moved. So like all of that stuff, I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was.
When they finally got the plan installed or the bug installed, you know, you see Harris talking about some touchdown. They're paying off to AJ. We see him on the football team. And then at the end, you go through this whole episode, all this trouble to plant this bug in the house of the Sopranos, just to listen to them talk about which workout machine you should use. You know what I mean? So you get all this buildup and all this work just to get it right. We had to go through the delays of the water heater blowing, all that stuff, and we're not even getting no real information. Hopefully this pans out. Hope maybe it doesn't, but this is the lengths we have to go just to get him on some kind of small charge, just to start building the case.
Yeah,
I thought that was real cool.
Greatly put by Rich.
Greatly put. All right, and that is our episode, man. I hope y'all enjoyed our return, man. Season 3, episode 1, Mr. Ruggerio's Neighborhood. Spike Lou, how do you rank this episode? Is it just another envelope, a good earner, or made episode?
Just another envelope.
Why?
It's a building block for a great season. I think this is what they needed to do to show us the transition from season 1 to season 2, because season 3, 4, and 5, I feel like we have a completely different show, and this is the beginning of the building blocks for that show.
Okay. What say you, Rich?
Same, just another envelope. It is just setting us up. Season 3 is one of my favorites. It's an incredible season. I even like the way they told this story and showed us how they even planted this bug and what they tried to do with it, the unique perspective. But it's just everything that happened in the episode is just some regular shit. You know, it's just another envelope, just another day.
And we're going trips here. Just another envelope. Hot take. This is one of the worst Sopranos episodes to me. I can see you saying it. Yeah, I waited to the end because I didn't want to pause but shoot my load early on like how I felt about the episode.
Jeez, oh Pete's, my goodness.
I said pause, dude. Like what?
Yeah, but you need. I
can't even believe you paused that and still said it. God,
you're right. You're supposed to stop yourself.
What is wrong with you guys? Like that's the rule. I followed the rules. If you're gonna be soldiers. Look, I can't even.
Nuts.
Oh man, y'all wild. Anyways, but quiet is kept to me. This is one of the. I think this might be the worst intro of any of Soprano seasons. I really don't like this episode. Like I don't like the music. I don't like the fade to black.
What's going on?
It's not. They've got episodes like that. It's not going. D-Girl, that's not a whole lot going on. Down Neck is not a lot going on. But like this episode to me, it's like it's the beginning, and it's like okay, we ready for y'all getting your bag because we seen a man walks into a psychiatrist's office. We seen the pilot. Those two was great start offs. This one right here was like it was just so weak to me. I didn't like the cartoony. It was kind of like. We know we got a good show, like y'all had your tongue out, like we got you. Like it just felt like I don't know. It was just super weak.
Charlie's Angels.
Yeah, it was just I really despise this episode. But again, this episode, like Rich would say, is better than 90% of most television. So I that's why we don't have anything lower than just another envelope. But I really would have. Yeah, people hate people hate a hit is a hit. This is hands down lower than that for me, easy. But that's me. Spike Lee, who gets the Good Earner Award of this episode?
Good Earner Award of this episode, I would say, is the Fed Collective. Them trying to put the bug in Tony's house, being able to successfully do that with all the stuff that was presented in front of them. So I would give it to the Feds.
Okay. What say you, Rich?
Yeah, I wish it was a little bit more complex than that, but just the struggle they had to go through to actually get that bug installed. The fact that they successfully pulled this off, based on the degree of difficulty, I got to give it to the Feds.
Yeah. We try not to go with all three of us agreeing, definitely. But this is they wrote it in that way. They wrote it that way. They wanted us to be like on the Fed side, kind of. Who gets the Broken Balls Award of this episode?
You're probably gonna be trifecta on this too.
Maybe not. Let's see.
The Broken Balls Award in this episode. If I'm gonna give it to a collective on the other end, I got to give it to a collective on this end. Is like everybody associated with Tony.
Okay, so I'm
like AJ, Meadow, the wife, the housekeeper, nobody being able to pick up. Yeah, nobody being able to pick up. Hey man, I might be being followed and need to let the head of the household know. Like nobody picked up on it. So, except for Tony, like you mentioned earlier in the recap.
All right, who gets the Broken Balls Award for you, Rich?
Patsy. Patsy having to celebrate his birthday. He's sad, misses his brother, knows who killed his brother, or at least who's responsible for it. Knows he's got to sit there and take it. Wants to do something about it, but realizes that he doesn't have it in him to do it. Has to swallow his pride and pretty much say, "I moved on from this," knowing he hasn't. Like the whole nine, it's a bad situation to be in, but it is what it is. Patsy got the broken balls.
Hey, Rich. I need you to say it. I put the grief behind me. I need you to say it. I need you to say it.
That's what I say. I picked up what you were saying.
I put the grief behind me.
That was so, hey man,
bro.
That was so smart by Tony. You have to say this out loud.
Out loud.
That way,
he asked him twice.
This is the boss. This is like a.
Yeah, stop playing with me, acting like you on my team and whatever.
He's like, you put the grief behind you.
Playing with me.
He was shaking his head.
Yeah.
He said, "You put the grief behind you." He's still shaking his head. No, I need you to say it. I put the grief behind me. Yeah. I gotta say, Broken Balls Award for me, Carmella. Carmella.
I like that.
Yeah, Carmella needs these figures to keep her balanced, to keep her staying married to Tony. She needs these guys. These guys like Father Phil, like Vic, like the tennis instructor. She needs them. That's the only way she'll stay married. And we'll get some later muses of men that she will.
These are people paying attention to her.
Yeah, paying attention. So this keeps her balanced. So losing him was just another L. She's essentially Pam for Martin. They can't keep a man. You know, so it's like she needs these guys, and when they keep leaving, it puts everything in perspective. She thinks about what her mom says. She thinks about what Livia said when they first got married. So definitely Broken Balls award for Carmela for me. I knew we wouldn't get trips on this one. Lastly, Spike Lou, what is your favorite moment of this episode?
Favorite moment of the episode is when they were trying to do the whole relapse, and the feds were at the house and they didn't know what was going on, and everybody was rushing back to the house, kind of giving that fake I don't know, what do you call it, fake suspense. Yeah,
like the flood prelude.
Yeah, the fake suspense. Yeah, that was the best thing about this episode.
Okay. What about you, Rich? What's your favorite moment?
I'm going with both Patsy scenes and Satriel's. The one where Chris is pissing Tony off by keep bringing up these things to Patsy, asking all these questions instead of moving on with the subject, and the conversation between Tony and Patsy. Just him telling them, like, I need to hear you say it. Those were my favorite moments of the episode.
I'm gonna go with the second one. I put the grief behind me. I gotta go with that. It's just super manipulative, but it's just like super like it's gonna be this or it's gonna be something else. Or in the words of Paulie, we always have the option. You know what I mean? I love that. We always have the option, and we're gonna leave it there, fill in the blank. So I would go with that. I put the grief behind me. I'm just getting that here on our list. Okay. And that is our episode of Good Earners, reviewing The Sopranos, season 3, episode 1. If y'all haven't already, man, y'all can email us goodearnerpod@gmail.com. Y'all can also find us on Instagram, goodearnerpod_Sopranos. Y'all can get y'all meme fix, because by the way, while we're reviewing this show, y'all get some funny Soprano humor for all those that have already watched it before. For some of those that may not watch before, you may not know necessarily what we're talking about, but y'all can DM us there, man. We love the support. We will also include you down the road when we do our recap for the whole season as well as the last episode. So understand that we really close knit. Support us, man. Vote us, leave some comments, some 5-star ratings, man. We're trying to grow this thing, and then who knows what spin-off podcasts we may have in the future. But we wanted to do something different because we haven't heard voices like ours and a perspective like ours. So we truly thank y'all for tuning in. I'm just gonna plug some other shows if y'all don't mind real quick, just in case y'all just really love our personalities. Spike Lou has a few other podcasts, but the ones that stand out right now at this moment: On Deck TV podcast, a hip-hop review show, as well as Another Week in the Books that me and him talk about issues for men, particularly black, but any man can relate. Rich has Culture Garden, where they do film review, and they do a wonderful job, as well as We Got Y'all is a TV review podcast with him and Ray P. So they do great things over there. And also for me, by myself, a role the audio drama series, where I have a fictional podcast that y'all can listen to, acted, written, scripted, and all of that good stuff. So y'all can check out all of those things and those variations. If y'all forget, just rewind the show and listen back. We thank y'all for listening, and remember, don't forget about it.